2022 was an amazing year on the TWI Never Stop Learning journey, and it was all fueled by you, our fantastic, passionate members, as well as our partners from across the wrap industry. So first and foremost, thank you so much to everyone for supporting our learning platform. Now in 2022, we released 250 instructional videos that covered everything from interior, PPF, color change, digital, motorcycles, window tint, sales, and detailing. And within this, we launched several very popular playlists, with the star playlist this year being the Tesla Model Y Color Change series that features Jimas Brazil and Patrick Weiser. And for next year, expect the same output along with online courses, badges, and much more. Now, TWI Friends, that is headed by Stefan and Stephanie, continued a ton of workshops in Paris and Lyon in 2022. They're great ambassadors of the Wrap Institute, so if you live in France, be sure to take a workshop from them. And in 2022, TWI Brazil opened up their doors, and it's run by Jimas Brazil and his lovely wife, Sabrina. Now, the facility is absolutely amazing, and they are hosting workshops for a wide range of manufacturers. And Jimas Brazil won Installer of the Year, which is well deserved. Good job, my man. Now, here at the Center in Munich, we did a lot of workshops as well, and they were focused on the TWI Wrap Matrix and Zero Stretch. We also did a lot of workshops for manufacturers and distributors, because that's what we do. Notably, the Wrap Institute created the certification course for STEC in Europe, and this is run by Reiner. It is in conjunction with Spandex, so if you want to be STEC certified, be sure to sign up. We did several live shows in 2022, and Miller Decals were a big partner for us at WrapsCon. We debuted the Wrap Gym, which was very popular, and the Wrap Warrior cutting contest was buzzing. Jim and his great group of installers from Miller Decals put on great demos each day. Now in FESPA at Berlin, it was a blast. We had a great crew of staff and trainers doing demos throughout the show. We also had exclusive interviews in the booth, and the crowd interaction was great. The ISA show and the Never Stop Learning contest were the big highlights of 2022. Now, COVID kept us from debuting this full Wrap experience and Never Stop Learning contest in 2021, so the energy in 2022 was extra special, especially the Never Stop Learning contest. We had 108 people, and the smiles and laughter all while competing and learning. It was really special 3 days. We also had several live events, like the Wake Up Party at Yellotools, the Wrap Mania Party in Oslo, and also a charity event online with the Rad Company in Boise, Idaho. We have a lot more happening with the Rad Company in 2023, so keep an eye out for that. And finally, as a lot of you can see in the videos, we have upped our game in terms of quality. You see it in the TWI library videos, as well as the product and promotional videos that we made in 2022. We made over 75 product videos and 10 high-end promotional videos. And they're from manufacturers from across the world, and at the Wrap Institute, we really appreciate that the manufacturers trust us to showcase their products in the best possible way. So as you can see, 2022 was a very fun and busy year for the Wrap Institute, and it's all about the Never Stop Learning journey. And at this point, I'd also like to say a big thank you to the Wrap Institute team. They give a lot of heart and soul into the company, and it really shows. So with that, let's get to TWI Live Wrap Up. Can't wait. All right, we are now ready to start the official program, TWI Live 2022 Wrap Up. And before we start the first workshop with Reiner and myself, what I want to do right now is explain the schedule so you know exactly what to stay tuned for and what to expect. So, Reiner and I are going to do a basic workshop for beginners. We're going to focus on tools and properties of material. Then, right after that, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the sponsors of this workshop, which are Sign Hack and Weldy. We're going to talk about those tools throughout that workshop. And we're also going to be showing Appa and Ritrama's film, the recast new digital print film. So those are the materials that we're going to be working at and the sponsor spotlights in that one. Then right after that workshop, we're going to be going straight to Craig Campbell from ISA, and we're going to be doing a 2022 overview. And I think 2022 was a very interesting year for the wrap industry, so lots of great information in that. Then once we do Craig, we're going to get back to workshop number 2, and I'm excited about this one because the first one is focused on beginners. The second one is focused on intermediate installers. I'll be wrapping a fender in color change film, and then Reiner's going to be wrapping a fender in PPF. So we're going to do PPF, color change film, so PVC, PPF. Lots of great information there on how to stretch the film, relax it, and start introducing the wrap matrix, which is good for PPF, as well as for color change and zero stretch. So focus on that. And then right after that, workshop number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to do a 2023 look ahead. And just as 2022 was really interesting, I think 2023 will be even more interesting. So lots of stuff to touch on there. And we're actually going to have an exclusive interview with Michel Althoff from Yellotools, because I think what they're doing with Yellotools in terms of technology innovation is really interesting. It's going to help you run your business better and smarter. That's definitely the name of the game. And right after that interview with Michel, what we're going to do is an advanced workshop with Reiner and myself. And in that one, we're going to go super deep. So definitely for advanced installers. I'll be wrapping the bumper of this BMW with a digital footprint film. That one's going to be from Ritrama. I'll be showing wrap matrix and zero stretch, how to take the material super deep without overstretching. And Reiner's going to show how to get a strong corner game with PPF film. So super advanced techniques for that. Right after that, Reiner are going to do Q&A, and we're going to answer a lot of questions that the viewers have been asking, and we're going to be able to maybe demo those real time. So if you have questions, definitely put them in the thing. We'll try to answer those. Then right after that, we have an exclusive interview with Manuel from Pate. He drove all the way up here from Italy on a very snowy day. Have lots of great information on their new color change film, which has been really great and well received in 2023. And they have some great news for 2023. And then right after that, we're going to jump into our Never Stop Learning contest. And as Reiner, as I mentioned, we're going to be wrapping the hood and mirrors, and you have to guess how long it takes us to do that. So put those in the comments on the YouTube channel for the Wrap Institute and YouTube, and hopefully you win that prize. And what's extra special about this event, which we're really honored to have, is we have special guest influencers and installers who we asked 3 questions to, and they all answered them. They gave unique answers, which is super fun. And we have Madison from Second Skin, Madison from Slick As, we have Jimas, we have Charlie, and we have Vitus from Wrap Virus. So great fun little things, and we're going to be throwing those in between each segment. So super informative show, as you can tell. It's going to take about 2.5 hours to go through. So with that, what I like to do is jump into the workshop with Reiner. Let's get to that. So Reiner, come on over, superstar. So Reiner.
Yes. Sir.
You love to train, I love to train, and we train all sorts of types of levels. Beginner, intermediate, and advanced, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, this focus is on beginner installers, people who have never picked up a squeegee, who don't know much about wrapping. And I think for that, Reiner, sometimes we see them try to get too far ahead. It's always better to start off slow and get it right.
Yeah. I mean, if you drive a car, you don't go to the racetrack first time.
No.
You don't wrap a mirror the first time completely when you grab a first time a PPF or PVC.
Absolutely.
Film. Yeah. So it's not a good start. So start slow and start with the right equipment.
Right. And so for this one, Reiner and I really put our heads together as, okay, if a beginner is just starting out, what are the strong fundamentals and things you need to get right in order to build that strong foundation? And I think before we even get into tools and material, Reiner, first and foremost, we're a big believer in your workspace reflects your wrap. What does that mean, Reiner?
What this means, you have a mirror. You have a mirror on the floor. I mean, you look to yourself. If you have dirty shoes, okay, it's not so good. If you're dirty around, it's not so good. So you want to have a clean workspace, then you can only do a good job and a clean work.
Dirty floor means dirty wrap, basically. Very simple.
That's it.
But also, now second one is, for tools. And we're going to kind of do a deep dive on tools right now, is we see a lot of beginners either buy cheap because they're trying to save money, which I understand to a certain point, but then also trying to buy every tool out there and spending too much money. So I think buying just the tools you need, but buying quality is big.
Yeah, buying quality and the real tools.
Yes.
So the real tools, I mean, it's nice to have, I say, if you have a candy shop, you always like to buy new stuff and make yourself happy by buying new stuff, but make yourself more happy buying the right stuff.
Absolutely. And the last thing before we do a deep dive into tools is maybe not necessarily have a shadow board, but if you take a tool out, put it back in the same spot. Organization is huge. I can't tell you how many installers are running around trying to find a squeegee they left somewhere else, and that just takes time and it's frustrating. You get out of the flow, and wrapping for me, Reiner, is all about flow.
Yeah, that's all about flow, preparation.
Yep.
Big key, prep, flow, everything is a part of the actually processing.
Absolutely. So with that now, I'm going to specialize in these 3 workshops on PVC film. Reiner, you'll focus on PPF. I'll just do a quick overview of some of the basic tools you need for PVC film. We'll go from there. We at the Wrap Institute love to have a good squeegee. You need one. We like to use this one from Yellotools because they got the 90-degree corner. The shore on this, and that tells you the softness of the squeegee is around 68. Some of the gold ones are 72. Some of the red ones, like from Avery, are 63. This one's kind of in the middle. We like that one. You always want to put a fresh buffer on right before you wrap. So blow-through buffers. There's monkey strips and banana buffers, so always pick and choose your poison. Reiner, having a glove is really key. So this is glove, and always want to make sure they make these white. Why do they make them white, Reiner?
Yeah, because also you see when it's dirty.
Yeah.
And these gloves are really great because they're super slippery on the surface. The bad thing is if you have a a knife in the hand. It also slips away. But this glove is made for wrapping with the hand. It's not for holding a knife.
Absolutely, absolutely. So glove is really essential. Having a tape measure, stuff like that. Having knives, we like to use, let's say, a multi-cartridge knife. We've actually been using this great new knife. We'll be featuring this in January. This is a cool knife that comes from Japan, super light. Knifeless tape, design line really critical for when you want to work on cut it directly on the surface. Having magnets is really good. Cleaning Reiner, huge. We've been working with a rag company more and more. This absolute rinseless wash is super, super good, which is cool. And then I think the biggest thing, Reiner, is having tools like, you'll say, Wrap UEZ. This is what's called a yellow open, so you can hold the hatchback open. And I think for me, the biggest one, we'll talk about later, properties of materials, having an IR thermometer. This kind of means for post heating, so you know the temperature of the surface. So overall, you don't need a whole lot of tools, right? But have organized, and basically all I need for car wrapping is on this top shelf, and I have a moving cart good to go. So for me, I would say maybe invest in, let's say, $200 to $300 worth of tools, and I think you're good to go. Just buy good quality. And most of the stuff that we work with, it comes from Yellotools because they have great quality. So this is PVC. Reiner, what's the story with PPF?
PPF is pretty the same, but more special, I would say.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we have also squeegees, but what we have, I work with the regular one, the blue one, same, but this is for small corners around if you work dry a little bit. So for PPF, you want to work with a squeegee like this. This is my Red Duo squeegee. So the Ape one, and this is super nice blade here. It's like a windshield wiper.
Ah, okay.
So you want to really wipe the moisture out from the film, and this you can only do with this. Test it by yourself. Grab a regular squeegee, spray some water on, try to wipe it down with a regular squeegee, and then try to wipe it down with a squeegee like this. So you see the result of the difference.
Absolutely.
So squeegees, knives for sure. So I like to use knives like the red dot knives. This is why I always work with it. So, and what I have here, you have a super nice short blade, so super thin blade.
And this is stainless steel, so a lot of times you want to use, let's say for PVC wraps, you want to use stainless steel. Reiner, I noticed that for PPF films, you like to use a carbon 58 grade blade.
Yeah, this is a carbon 58, so I like it personally because it stays longer, sharp, and I can handle it much more better. And also there are different, so you have this one, so this is a thicker blade, and then you also have a thinner blade if you want. So, but this is your preference. You need to be professional with a knife. You need to be professional with a knife and cutting the material.
Absolutely.
Most important thing.
Absolutely.
So handle this in the right way. Knife, best thing. Squeegees we had, same measurement tape. We have gloves we use after, but more easy things like this. Okay, you have nitrile gloves. You use it because then it's all about dirt. Don't getting dirt under the film.
And also you're wet all day when you're doing PPF. So here, this is dry. PPF is wet, and if you're wet all day, your hands get kind of raisiny and kind of ugly and stuff like that. I mean, which sounds stupid, but I don't want to look like that.
No, and it looks pretty cool. We look like some tattoo studios if we run around with the black gloves, so why not? Next big thing is solutions. So we have here some cleaning solution, but also my tech solution, just regular water, distilled water. I have inside here my Ape solution. So this is the actually slip solution, where you put the material on the car.
Okay.
And a big thing is, you talk about cleaning, different stuff. Okay, we don't do really clean the car, we detail the car. So we really want to have all the specs away, so it's a must-have. If you have a clay bar like this, if you have a clay towel, if you polish the car before, so think about really not even cleaning the car, more detailing the car.
Absolutely, absolutely. So generally, for the most part, with PPF installs, you're not going to use nearly as many tools as you will with PVC. You definitely will use way more tools, I think, in this. But I think always by quality, and having a card is key. All right. Now, these are the basic tools you're going to use for install, but let's do some macro tools before we get into properties of material in just a second. And that is, I think, having race ramps is absolutely key. And if you're on the Wrap Institute, you get a 15% discount on the race ramp. So I definitely take advantage of that. Wheel well covers are big for sure. And then oftentimes you're in a shop as you're doing, let's say, cut vinyl and stuff like that. There's a lot of production involved. So you have to think production. And we've been working, Reiner, with a company called Signhack. They're associated with a great distributor in Denmark called Vicky Allo. And they have like a trifecta of production tools that are really helpful for weeding the material, pre-masking the material, and their table we use a lot not just for production, but also for color change for PPF. And we actually made a really good video on the Wrap Institute, Reiner, about talking about the benefits of those tools in terms of streamlining production. So I think with that, why don't we go to that video, and then right after the video, let's talk about properties of material, Reiner.
Let's go for it.
Cool.
At the Wrap Institute, we have two core beliefs that we run our company by. Number one is we firmly believe you can marry quality, durability, and efficiency all into your day-to-day routine. That is using it for us, cutting-edge techniques, and great tools. And we also firmly believe wrapping is the best job in the world, which means at the end of the day, you should have done really creative stuff, you should have a smile on your face, and you should have high profits. And we definitely believe that this is true because we look at our members and they can do it once they incorporate all the great techniques and tips into their program. That also means having great production tools. Now, we also like to work with great partners who feel the same way, and voila. We've been working with SignHack now for about a year and a half, and we've been using these production tools, and we firmly believe they fit our 2 cardinal rules. So what I want to do is walk you through these tools and why they fit that profile perfectly. Let's begin with vinyl remover. This thing is great because weeding cut vinyl, for example, takes a long time. Sometimes your back hurts, it means a long, frustrating day, and you can't be super creative when you're bent over a table. This cuts the weeding time more than half, which is great. So what you do is you throw the cut vinyl into here, crank the handle, and what it does is it weeds most of the excess vinyl super quick and easy and straightforward, which means time goes down low, means that you're not super frustrated, and means that you can go on to the next task, which is definitely the name of the game. So the vinyl remover is great. Once you weed everything out, then you have to pre-mask it. Aha! Now we got the speed applicator. So what the speed applicator is right now is this is basically the same concept as that, is lowering time, frustration, and back pain. So the idea behind this now is you just take your cut vinyl, throw it in here, and this can pre-mask it super quick just by cranking a handle. Lots of videos on the Wrap Institute showing how to use application tape by hand applying it, and that is super frustrating because if it touches too soon, you might ruin what you're trying to put pre-mask on. It can be frustrating in terms of getting good quality because sometimes you get wrinkles, and for me it's just one of those things at the end of the day you're also bending over, hurts your back. So these two put a smile on your face, put profit in your pocket because the investment pays off in just 3 to 4 months by purchasing these. Cool stuff. Now we move to tables. This for me is a great table for a lot of reasons right now. All right, we've been using this on the Wrap Institute now for a year and a half, as I said, and we use it for all sorts of videos, not just production, but also color change and PPF. What's cool about this table is anti-static wheels, which means we can move it around the shop. It doesn't pick up a lot of dirt. Super nimble, which is cool. But the biggest thing for me is it's battery powered, and you're thinking, why would a table need to be battery powered? It's for this. So right now, again, talked earlier about back pain. At the end of the day, if you don't have the right setup in terms of tools and production equipment like this, you're bending over a lot, especially if you're tall. I see a lot of wrap shops have tables like this that are they're stationary and they're super low, which means production people have to get, kind of compromise their skills and their body position. Now with this table, what's cool about this table is they have a control panel on both sides where if you have someone who's tall, you simply just press a button, the table goes up, and much more comfortable, which is really cool. But as I said earlier, we use this table not only just for, let's say, production in our videos, we also use it for PPF. Now with PPF, oftentimes you have a peel board, which means you have to come to a board in your shop that's stationary. So this means you kind of limit where you need to go. It means you also have time where you have to pull it to the car. Not with this table. With this table now, you can switch it. What I can do is I can tilt it now, and I can basically turn this into a peel board. So it gets up at a very high angle, and Reiner uses this quite a bit when he does the PPF videos on the Wrap Institute. So this is a multifunctional table, which is really cool, which also works really well too with these other two applicators, the remover and the applicator, and these two combined, which is really cool. So now keep in mind, so this hits that perfect quotient of quality, durability, efficiency, fun, creativity, and profits. And at the Wrap Institute, for this special live event, they have a special code for you, so definitely take advantage of this. This is good for 2 weeks, and I highly recommend getting these because, again, for us, we're firm believers. We've been using it for a year and a half. It works for us, and if it works for us, it's definitely going to work for you. So that's an overview of the SignHack setup production tables and the vinyl remover and the speed applicator. Enjoy.
All right, great highlight on SignHack, and keep in mind that coupon code that I mentioned is only good for 2 weeks, so take advantage of that. So that being said, right now, let's get to properties of the material. And again, this is, straight for beginner installers, really important to understand. So buy good quality tools, you got the whole story for that. Now let's get into properties of PVC film, and then Reiner will talk about PPF film. Now again, keep it simple. You can get super complicated when it comes to properties of material, but I don't want to kind of blow your mind. Keep it simple. 3 cardinal rules for PVC film. I'm going to talk about memory. I'm going to talk about the adhesive, slidability. Then I'm going to talk about zero stretch. Cool. So let's begin with memory. PVC film, really amazing material. Super strong, super flexible, and it weathers great. And when you stretch it, it doesn't break. So I'm going to show that now. So I'm going to take my heat gun, and I'm going to heat the film and soften it up. So as I soften the film up, what it does, it makes it become kind of pliable so I can conform it. So you do want to warm the film sometimes. And I'm going to show just how far you can stretch it. So I got that set up, and I'm going to stretch it there, and it doesn't break. This is the power of PVC. So PVC film can stretch, it can conform, you can wrap mirrors with it, recessed areas, bumpers. Really cool. But it comes with a price. Or if you see it in negative, it comes with a price. But I want to show you how this is a positive. But that being said, as soon as you stretch PVC film, what you're doing is you're creating what's called the memory effect. You're putting energy in the film. And this material, even though you don't see it now, if this goes out in the sun, that heat that I just put in the film to soften it will actually cause the film to do this. I'm going to heat it again and watch. And as I heat it and I get closer to the center, it jumps back. And I never get tired of this demo. It's really amazing. And you can see that the material shrinks back to its original shape and tension. It's a pretty darn cool party trick. So when you're just starting out, and a lot of you are beginners, you're going to stretch the film onto a mirror, and you're going to probably overstretch it. And that energy you put in the material is going to cause it to shrink, and you're going to get fingers and lifting. Or you put it in a recessed area, it's going to pop out, or a bumper. So this can be frustrating, that property. But we at the Wrap Institute, we're really passionate about turning that into a positive. We actually think that's a good thing. And we'll have lots of techniques to show that. And later on when we do advanced, that's when the Wrap Matrix and Zero Stretch come out. That shrinkage is actually really good. It makes the wrapping process much better. So memory is a big thing that you have to respect and know. It's the basic property of the film. What's also cool about the film today is that the adhesive. The adhesive back in the day when we first started wrapping was really, really aggressive. It was hard to put on. Because the material, as soon as the adhesive touched the surface, what happened was it's stuck. But now this material slides. Very cool. I can take this and put it pretty much anywhere on the hood and just slide it around. So there's very low initial tack. And how I make the material now is I grab my squeegee now with a buffer, and I simply just press hard. It's called adding pressure activated film. And now the material sticks, which is great. So this is now material super easy because they put the technology in the film. It's called repositionable. So I can slide it around, get in position, and squeegee. And what they do is they also put channels in the adhesive, or they make it like a textured surface, where if I get a bubble right now, I can actually press that bubble out, and the air just spreads out underneath the film, so I don't have to pop it. So the adhesive of PVC film today is super, super easy to put on because it's slidable, and it has the air egress feature. Like this Rycast from Fedrigoni now has that feature on it, and it's just super, super cool, so easy to install. Awesome. So that's point number 2, is the slidability and the great adhesive today. Now what's interesting about the material though is now I'm going to grab this piece of Oppa film and I'm going to release the cap sheet. And now we want to get into what we feel at the Wrap Institute is the cardinal rule number 3 of PVC film, and that is zero stretch. Very, very important and groundbreaking technique that we debuted in 2021 in October. And the idea is this, is I just pull this material off the liner. Around this whole outside edge, I don't see the liner. So that means I didn't stretch it, right? It's the original form. But what we discovered at the Wrap Institute is just like this material, if you stretch it, it wants to shrink. When this material was made, and this is PVC, when the manufacturer made it during the manufacturing process, it actually got stretched on the liner. And you can't see that there's tension there, but there is tension there, and it's very important to recalibrate the film. So watch what I do. I'm going to take the heat gun right now, and I'm going to heat very slow. And look how close my heat gun is to the surface. And as I heat nice and slow, just like I did around the window right there, is the material it causes the material to shrink a little bit. So right now I go back and forth and back and forth, and interesting. So right now, look, you can see. So right here, look how much the material shrank. It shrank almost like 1/8 of an inch, almost 1/4 of an inch. Definitely 1/2 centimeter right there. And it even shrank on the side a little bit. So you can tell this side that I didn't heat is right on the edge. And you think, oh, there's no tension there. But look how much this material shrank. There's actually quite a bit of tension in the film. That is a good thing if you know it, because what I'm going to do later in the Never Stop Learning contest is I'm going to wrap this mirror with Oppa film, but before I wrap the mirror, I'm not just going to take it off the liner and wrap the mirror. I'm going to zero stretch it first, then wrap the mirror, and I'm telling you, it's a game changer. So those are the basic properties of PVC film. What we're going to do right now is we're going to jump to Reiner, and Reiner's going to show you the basic properties of PPF film. So solid foundation for PPF film or PVC film. Now let's get to Reiner. Reiner, what's the story?
Yeah. It's the same but different. Okay, what we have here, we have a complete different material. We don't have PVC, we have TPU. It goes thermoplastic polyurethane. So poly, if you hear the name poly, means, oh, I need to think about this. It's not something what is one mono, it's polyurethane. So a lot of connection inside this plastic. So a lot of connection means, okay, it's pretty strong, it's pretty durable. And when I take this off here from the liner, this is now clear PPF, so it's really durable. I can try to stretch it, I can try to break it. So, and you see, so it will not break. Okay, so really durable. All the connections stay together. And what's the funniest thing is, Justin talked before about heating it up and what happens if we relax again with the heat gun. So I have no heat gun right now. I just stretch it with the hand and I put it back right now directly on. So directly on this liner, and it actually shrinks back to the original position. So you don't need heat for this, that it goes back. And yeah, what can I say? Turn the bad things into good things. So if you say, okay, it's wrinkling up, it never will stay, it always push back, yeah, it has a good memory. So it had a good memory to get back in the original position. If you don't work with the film, if you work against the film, okay, it will work against you. So be smart how to work with the film. And when we say be smart how to work with the film, when we say fundamentals, basics, so what we need to do to put it on. First, we see we have not like a glue, like on a wrap film, where we can put on and slide a little bit. No, it will stick directly. And also this little bit matte, so I cannot really look through here. So we have a matte film, a matte glue here. So it means I cannot stick it on dry. It looks horrible when I stick it on dry. I can stick it on with a slip solution. So and I have here my sprayer, my CAC, with the Ape slip solution in. And when I spray this on and put it on the surface, okay, now I can move it. Now I can squeegee the whole thing. And now we also know why we have a matte glue. Because the matte glue allows us to squeegee out the moisture. So with the time when the material stays on for a week or two, so all the matte glue will turn completely glossy, because then it's uniform, then it stays on the surface. But with the matte glue, we even can release it again, so it's not sticking directly. Spray again our slip solution. And put it on, squeegee out the moisture. And as you see before, so when I talk about the squeegees, about a regular squeegee, about a PPF squeegee, so when I push all the moisture out from the surface under the material, so I cannot really move it again, so it actually starts sticking.
You know, Reiner, what's really cool about that is the fact that I'm sitting here, and while you're spraying that, I got sprayed, so I was going to take a shower when we got back to the hotel tonight, but I don't have to take a shower anymore, which is pretty cool.
It's always good. PPF is always for fresh guys, fresh people. I also want to get you a little bit of experience with the PPF material on the other side. So, okay, you see, when I try to, now, before I can lift it really easy, but now I try to pull it in this direction, just squeegee on, just with a slip solution. So I try to pull it, and you see how hard it's sticking.
Yeah.
But if you understand the properties, the material, if I lift it in this direction, okay, it's easy to remove. So fundamental basics, we work with the whole material, we work with everything. We work with every corner from the PPF. So when I put this now on a round surface, a little bit 3D, 2D surface, we work with our metrics. So the Wrap Institute metrics says just 3 easy rules where to stretch, how to stretch. And one of the easiest rule is the carpet rule. I say, so I have wrinkles inside here. What I do, if you look from the side here closer, so what I do to put this on, so I stretch a little bit on the side and all the wrinkles are disappearing. So I work just like a carpet. If I have a wrinkle inside here, I need to pull it left and right. So, and if a small wrinkle here, smaller wrinkle here, so I just push it a little bit to the sides. What I also do, I don't pull here because I want to have the corners neutral around here. I just push from the middle, and with the heat of the hand, it even starts to sticking by only holding down. So have patience with the material. Have patience to work with it. And now we have no wrinkles in. I don't need to work against the material, put it on, squeegee out, have a really great result, and can actually start to cut it. Or wait a little bit, because it's easier to cut the material when it's dry.
So this is very cool stuff, so basically with that, Reiner and I are showing basic fundamental properties of the material. PVC, the 3 cardinal rules for me. For Reiner is showing that the PPF has memory, different types of adhesive, but also have that slip solution. So 4, basic core fundamentals for that type of material. Then in workshop number 2, Reiner and I are going to be wrapping those fenders so you can really see that stretch and flow. It was interesting, even when you get to the edges, or when I get to the edges with my film for corners and stuff like that, what's interesting is I used to pride myself, Reiner, that I didn't have to use heat a lot. I used to use relief cuts, I used to use triangles. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But more and more, Reiner, I use a heat gun more than ever. Yeah. So it was just weird. I used to say if you walk into a wrap shop and you hear a heat gun, that means they're overstretching the film. Now I say if you walk into a wrap shop and they're using a heat gun, they're using the wrap matrix and zero stretch. So that's what I really want to emphasize, is that in the next workshops, I'm going to be using a lot of heat gun. And so for me, getting a heat gun is really critical. We didn't talk about the basic tools because we've been fortunate enough to be working with Weldy, Reiner, and they have 3 different types of heat guns that we really have fallen in love with in the Wrap Institute because we use them for a wide variety of different purposes, including PPF, but also mainly PVC film. So with that right now, what I want to do is I want to end this workshop by we had a great interview with Lucas from Weldy, and he really talks about why these heat guns are super special and why we at the Wrap Institute have been using them a lot. So with that right now, let's go to Lucas, and then right after that, we'll get to that 2023 overview with Craig Campbell. So I hope you enjoyed this first workshop for beginners so you understand the basics, get the right tools, get the right fundamentals. All right, everyone, this TWI Spotlight is on Weldy, and joining us from Weldy today is Lucas. Lucas, how you doing, my man?
Thanks, I'm well. Many thanks. I'm happy to be here and talk about Weldy and our products here in your live event.
Cool. And so one thing that's really interesting and we find on the Wrap Institute is a lot of people just think, a squeegee is a squeegee, a knife is a knife, a heat gun's a heat gun. But, the Wrap Institute, we always do our homework, we get to know the companies, and we were really pleasantly surprised when we got to know Weldy. There's actually a company behind Weldy that really influences you guys, and that's Leyster. And Leyster is maybe not well known within the wrap industry, but within, let's say, roofing and industries like that, Leyster is the Rolls-Royce of heat guns. And so now Weldy is an offshoot of that. Do you want to talk to our viewers about that and the idea behind it?
Yeah, sure. As you said, Weldy is a sub-brand of our Leyster products. So at Leyster, we offer high-quality products, and they are mostly for process of plastics. And our products there, we are mostly market leader in their applications. And just like the main Leyster products, our Weldy heat guns are designed in Switzerland and with the Leyster know-how. So therefore, our Weldy heat guns have a high standard quality. So
and that quality can mean a lot of things. When you're using a heat gun, and I think the biggest thing for me is durability. I know a lot of people talk about when they drop a heat gun, it breaks really quickly. Yours gets hot really quick. Has a lot of great features. Can you talk to our viewers about that and the idea behind it?
Yeah, sure. So our lifetime is much longer than just the cheap heat guns on the market. It's because of the heating element which we have into. We produce our Weldy heat guns in China in our own production area there with our Leyster standard of quality. Means we really improve every single heat gun in the end of the production line.
That durability thing is a big thing for me because I'm using basically the same heat gun now for 2 years. So it's a great investment, great quality, and that's one of the great things about your product.
Speaking of your product, when you guys did come out with your Weldy heat guns, you have 3 different versions. And can you explain why you have 3 different versions and the benefits of each one?
Yeah, sure. At the moment, we have 3 different car wrapping kits. All of these kits or all these products have some different USPs and covers different customer needs. But all our heat guns are lightweight and well balanced, so it's really nice in their hands. And as an addition, all kits do have the heat protection device on the tool, so you don't want to burn yourself anymore. And as well the foil or the car you are working with. As well, we have the air inlet covers here, so you can't block the air inlet anymore if you place the tool in between your legs, for example. And as an addition, we have a 5-meter long power cord, which gives you more flexibility while you're working on cars or whatever. And we have the 330B as our basic tool. There you have to adjust 2 temperatures just by a switch, so super easy to use. Then we have the 330S as our standard tool. There you have a potentiometer where you can adjust the temperatures. And our advanced tool is the 530A. This is the tool with the display, so there you can adjust the temperature and the air volume by just pushing some buttons. And as well, we have 5 temperatures which you can store there and just easily choose it if you want to work on some different foils or whatever different applications. So you're quite flexible there.
And I think more and more in the Wrap Institute, we have techniques that we're showing where, especially with PU film coming out, you really don't want to have that high heat. You want to be able to adjust. So I think definitely going with the model with the adjustment is key. But the electric, the one with the digital readout, for me, I'm a big fan of, just because especially that one is lowering the heat setting, lowering the fan setting, not only prolongs the life, but a lot of times you're working, let's say, close to, let's say, race ramps, which are made out of plastic. And if you kind of have your heat gun on the side and you're not paying attention, it'll slow down that heat, so you're not going to damage carpet, race ramps, all that kind of stuff. For me as a business owner, those features are really nice. So Lucas, for our viewers, where are the best ways that they can purchase a Weldy heat gun?
The best way is definitely online. We have many online shops with distribution channels from our resellers. As well, you can go to our Weldy or Leicester shop, and there you can just choose where you live, and then you will see our next reseller we have in your country. So therefore, quite an easy way.
Nice. And in 2023, for those of you watching, as we mentioned earlier, the Wrap Institute has a lot of giant booths at all the shows. So if you're at Pate in Germany, WrapFest, if you're at FESPA, if you're at the ISA Science Show, at WrapsCon, we'll be featuring the Weldy heat guns there. And also, I'll be doing the Avery Anderson workshops in North America, and those are the featured heat guns for those workshops, so plenty of hands-on opportunities. So again, this has been a TWI Spotlight on Weldy heat guns, and this has been Lucas joining us today. Lucas, thank you so much for the time, and congrats on making a great product.
Thank you, Justin, and have fun while you're live event.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Sammy.
And we're from Slick As Protective Films.
We've got 2 shops here in Brisbane, Australia.
Knowing what I know now, if I were to start again, I would really focus on getting my pricing correct. This is something that has affected my business for years after we've grown, because I still had cheap pricing or pricing I didn't take the time to calculate correctly at the start. So if I did it again, I would start with a really structured quoting tool.
And for me to change something back from when I was learning, I think just having that clean, dust-free environment, just so I can learn and grow a lot quicker, having that confidence with installing and not worrying about debris. So yeah, having aircon and a clean environment would be the big thing for me.
My second thing personally would be to be more strategic with the type of work that I selected to do when I was learning PPF. I wish that I had have used more templates available, because it was so much easier to learn those than going straight into bulking. And we work a lot on semi-trucks and things like that. So I would have selected more flat panels, more templates, and been strategic with saying no to the jobs that I knew was out of my out of my skill level, just so that I didn't stress myself out.
The one thing that really made me grow as an installer, I think, was just finding my own routine and processes when it comes to having a clean panel, installing from a certain spot to another spot, having my certain tools with me, and yeah, just having that routine.
I think the main thing that really helped us grow as a company would be I asked for a heap of help when I was learning. I got really good mentors, I did heaps of business courses, and I think that over time you retain that information, and as you can apply it as your business grows, you implement the knowledge that you've learned rather than scrounging around for years and then trying to fix it later. I think that was really huge to allow us to grow as quickly as what we have.
If I could use only 5 tools for the rest of my life when installing, I'd have to just go with my final prep squeegee, a normal squeegee, my knife, a syringe, and a heat gun.
We wish you all a very happy holidays and a Merry Christmas.
And never stop learning. That's PPFing fun. Hey!
I think the best way to begin this detailed overview of 2022 is to actually go back to 2016. And the reason why is I gave a speech at the AWA conference in Amsterdam about the past, present, and future of car wrapping. The video's on YouTube and also on the Wrap Institute, so definitely check it out because it was really interesting. And during the speech, I said the car wrap industry would triple in the next 6 years, and this was based on research the Wrap Institute did, as well as Grandview. Now, my main takeaway from this exponential growth in 6 years was that wrap shops had to focus on growth and volume in order to succeed in the coming years. Well, 6 years later, it's 2022. And that prediction has come true and then some in terms of growth. The industry, color change, commercial, PPF, tint have absolutely exploded, as I'm sure a lot of you know, especially during COVID. Now, the focus on growth and volume was definitely true. And a perfect example of this is Miller Decals in Atlanta. They have scaled bigger and bigger every year due to solid installation and administration upgrades. In addition, they are finishing work on a super new facility where they'll be going from 3,000 square feet to over 13,000 square feet with an addition to add more. Congratulations, Jim and Charlie. Yet on top of adapting to growth and volume, there's also been many unexpected positive changes as well, with a lot of them happening in 2022, which are the turn from just learning how to wrap, let's say, a mirror, to learning how to run a wrap shop, which is the focus on business. Also, a big merger of industries, from detailing, PPF, tint, and PVC wraps, all combining, oftentimes under one roof, advances in materials, and this for me is very interesting, acquisitions of both manufacturers and distributors. This makes 2022 for me extra special. It's a very unique year for the wrap industry.
So with that, as you can see, 2022, a very interesting year, and I'm joined today with Craig Campbell from ISA. Craig, how are you today?
Great, Justin, how are you? Good to be here.
Awesome, thanks for joining us. So Craig, I kind of set them up, a little intro right there, and the focus that you and I are going to be doing a deep dive on for 2023 are mergers in the industry from different industries, distributors, material innovations, events, and education and regulation. So good topics, Craig.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot to cover, but I think we can manage.
Yeah, you're a smart guy, and I'm kind of smart, so let's go into that. So let's begin, Craig, with merging industries right now. For me, merging industries has been really interesting. In 2016, even on the Wrap Institute, we started doing videos at Expel, went out to Ceramic Pro, did some videos out there. So even I could already see the crossover happening. And then in 2019, Craig, we started the Wrap Experience, which was awesome. And the Wrap Experience was the idea is that ISA is traditionally, focused on printers, laminators, material, but now we wanted to show the crossovers with ceramic coating and PPF. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I would say that plus, almost tenfold, right? I mean, it feels like it's just been, we've been watching this blending for, I don't know, 10, 15 years now, it feels like. We're like, oh, it's almost there. And then you turn around and now it's here, right? I mean, there's so much of that blending happening. The traditional, call them sign companies who got into wrap, and then next thing you know, they've gotten into the restyling part, and then they've understood like all those other avenues that are available to them for for growth opportunity, right, within their business. So as you mentioned, PPF, ceramic coating, auto detailing, and then on the other side, those folks that started on that side of the industry, seeing how powerful offering wraps to their business can be. So it's been quite the journey watching it come along and to see where it is today.
Absolutely. And for me, it's really exciting, because again, it's more than just 1+1. I'm not just doing a commercial wrap on a van. I'm doing a commercial wrap and maybe adding ceramic coating. I'm not just doing a color change wrap, I'm adding tint. So there's so many different upsell opportunities where I think if you're really tuned in today and you got to up your install game and also your knowledge of material, there's definitely huge amounts of money to be made in kind of creating that all one-stop shop for customers. And in 2023, Craig, even to in 2022 with the wrap experience of the ISA show, we're really trying to bring that home, where really kind of creating almost a show within a show where people can come get ceramic coating, see about interior films and all that stuff. I think for me, it couldn't be more exciting. In 2022 was really a focus on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially we had such a successful 2019, right, and then had this just kind of groundswell really for the for that event going into 2020. And obviously, when the world stopped on us, it was we could see that the demand was there and the desire to kind of understand what those new avenues for business for even traditional sign companies were. So yeah, we're super excited about how the event went in 2022. Super well received. I mean, we had every spot available to be filled, to be in the Never Stop Learning contest. That was filled really quickly, and then even those who we had a waiting list, I believe, kind of waiting at the door, if you will, to get into the contest. So that kind of shows you the demand that's there to learn more about what those opportunities are.
So 2022, big crossover for sure within emerging industry, or all those different types of industries, which for me is exciting. So with that, Craig, let's move on to events. COVID obviously put a stop on shows. This was kind of a normal year back in the, SEMA was back on. We had RapsCon, we had FESPA going on, and obviously ISA. How was it for you and the team to kind of be back at a normal show? Was it beyond expectations? Was it less than expectations? What were your thoughts on that?
Way beyond all of our expectations. I mean, I think, at the time we do, as a part of the association world, we spend a lot of time speaking with other associations who have events as well. And, we kept hearing it was kind of back and forth. We felt like it was coming, but there was still a lot of trepidation on attendees' part and exhibitors for that matter, if we're able to kind of get back in swing. We really felt like our show was at the right time, at the right moment, for the industry to really get back together again. But it greatly exceeded our expectations of where we thought we were going to be. We're kind of back in full swing. We feel like we're back in that mode again to really put on bigger and better shows every year. So we feel like that's definitely on the rise.
Which for me is a good side. For me, I miss those shows. I love coming together and just sharing the information, but also the networking opportunities. And it does seem like, even though maybe it wasn't necessarily back to crowd levels of 2019, but it's pretty darn close, especially the show in Atlanta. The quality of the people there at the shows, people are coming to buy. So in terms of sales within the show itself, it's actually very good.
Oh gosh, it was huge. I mean, we had exhibitor after exhibitor after exhibitor saying it broke every sales record they've ever had at any show before in the past. And I mean, obviously a lot of that becomes with pent up demand, but I think there were a lot of new companies. We had over 150 brand new companies to the show this year. I mean, that speaks volumes of how many different markets that our industry is related to. There's so many different vertical markets, and I think people are seeing that opportunity.
Absolutely. So now we've covered events, Craig. Let's move on to manufacturers and trends this year. To beginning of 2022, not a lot of new products being introduced by manufacturers because, I really feel like the first 6 months, but they're still trying to sort out supply chain issues. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, that was one of our main topics going right in, obviously, in the beginning of the year. Still continues now, and it seems to be not just the material issues, but also the shipping logistical problems, right? I mean, every time you turn around, there's potential strikes going on, or people are shortage of drivers, or whatever the case may be. It's been challenging, but it also proves that that's what this industry is about, right? I mean, we're problem solvers. We kind of get through the hurdles and find out solutions and find out those other materials. And I think that's probably been another big thing. It's allowed our industry to open those doors and be more open-minded, I guess I should say, about what other materials may be out there to help them solve their issues and get their clients the work they need.
Yep, and that's one of the things that Wrap Institute we've been passionate about for years is making so many product videos for so many different companies, and for us, it's just a natural given to know how to work with so many different brands and dial them in. And I was really happy to see that people kind of had to be forced to work with different brands and get a feel for it and kind of educate themselves. And I think once COVID, now that the supply chain issue is kind of going over and is getting back to normal, is that I hope that people still are open to using different brands as opposed to just sticking in one lane. So that being said, it seemed like at the end of halfway through, supply chain issues started to kind of even out. Like, let's say, for instance, AV Dennison started the year, they had taken their color change down to just 25 colors, and near the end of 2022, now they're back up to the full, color line, which is cool. General Formulations now introduced their cast line, which had been kind of coming for a while, but obviously put off by COVID. And for me, I think this, it's been happening every year, but I think 2022 especially was the year of PPF. PPF was a massive growth.
Yeah, 100%. And I think again, that's another one of those trends we saw years and years ago. But I think, the big difference in supply chain, what was lacking in the industry, I think that opened the door for PPF, for TPU films, and for them to be used in a variety of applications. Obviously, it always has to fit the right application, the right budget most of the time, but still, it's there. It's another viable opportunity for the industry to be able to succeed. So, then the other side, you talked about how some of the other trends that we're seeing, and fleets are bigger this year. It feels like more and more people are trying to find that bang for their buck. When I say people, I mean some of the bigger companies and corporations. They got to know when people are back on the roads again, they're out traveling. They know they got to get that brand in front of their consumers.
Yeah, I would say. I think there was a talk about, like, in 2019, 2020, that a lot of digital printers, a lot of that side of the industry was going to shrink because of the big box stores and the internet and people buying online was going to change the landscape. But I really feel like with COVID, and especially now, fleets are a major part, and I see people buying printers just as much as before and selling digital print film. So I think in 2022, fleets, PPF, and also just kind of material coming back online and supply chain issues kind of softening up was cool, which is great. So with that, Craig, I think this is kind of your wheelhouse right now, is why don't we move to regulations? And it's something that a lot of people in the industry, definitely don't really think about, but I think it's important to. What is anything particularly that stands out in 2022 that people should know about?
Yeah, so this is actually in 2022 was yet another, a big Supreme Court decision, which is the city of Austin versus Reagan Advertising in Texas. And this is the second time in 7 years that a sign graphics and visual communications industry issue has gone to the Supreme Court. If you think about that, it's kind of rare. And so much of it has to do with the way the government wants to regulate content, free speech, that type of thing, and how that trickles down into a local ordinance issue. So, I would urge everyone to really understand what those cases mean in their local municipality, and you can go to signs.org, reach out to our advocacy team there. We've got a codes and regulations site on our page on our website that you can go through and really understand what those things mean, and then reach out to our advocacy team directly to understand it. But it comes with, if you're in that community, you're providing signage and visual communications to that industry or to that local community, you need to really be conscious about what's happening on your local government, how those signs are being regulated. Yep. Yeah, I was just saying, additionally, be on the lookout for things that may affect on the wrap piece, on that specific vehicle wrapping, because as people start looking, when I say people, I mean your local governments, looking for ways to drive tax revenue, this could be one of them. So if you are seeing any of that potential, please reach out to us and make us aware of that.
Nice. Thanks for the tip. And that's great stuff. And again, that's the stuff that I say, it's your strength and what you bring to the industry. And I think lastly, as we wrap this up, I think we should talk about, I talked earlier about 2016 and volume and growth and how the industry is changing. I think one thing that something that I didn't think about back in 2016 that's happening a lot, especially in 2022, is investment companies coming into the industry and buying up distributors, manufacturers, a lot of companies buying other companies and growing. What are your thoughts on that, and who really stood out in 2022 as a big player? Yeah.
And I think what investment firms have seen is the strength of the industry. It kind of seems like no matter if we're down market or up market, everybody still needs a sign, right? I mean, we're a little bit shielded from the ups and downs of the kind of the normal economic activity. But yeah, if you look at ones like Spandex acquiring a few different, they're a big across the pond type distributor, but they've now made some inroads into the U.S. You look at Fellers being acquired by an investment firm. Just shows you they're looking to grow. You look at Grimco, they're another one who continues to not only grow here in the U.S., but they've also expanded back into the U.K. So they're expanding on that side of things. And then you look at other companies like Rapid Solutions Group, they're steadily acquiring locations. And I think it all comes down to how do distributors serve the market and do it effectively and efficiently, and keep it competitive. I mean, that's what they're there for as well. So, that's another thing I would always urge people to reach out to distributors. They're one of your best partners, in the business. So reach out to them. They've got their ears to the ground. They know what's happening on a daily basis, and it can help you help your business thrive.
Yeah, I think these mergers sometimes people think is a bad thing, but I sometimes think if it's done right, it can actually be really good. So Spandex is one of the largest distributors in the world. They're mainly in Europe, a little bit in Australia, and the fact that they're starting to come to America is interesting with regional. The fact that say Fellers, for example, got bought by an investment group, and it's kind of, we talked earlier at this interview, we talked about crossover, where now they bought Interwest. They focus on PPF, big focus on tint. So again, that crossover is really happening where distributors want to have all those products under one roof as well, where before it was just wrap materials with color change and full print for Fellers. Now they're going full spectrum. So I think in a way you're going to really find that you can get a true one-stop shop, because as your company start to merge and do PPF, tint, color change yourself under one roof, you have a distributor who can supply you.
I really like it from a manufacturing standpoint, how many of those have gone out and they've acquired some raw material suppliers, or they've started to bring those things in-house. So they're like, fool us once with COVID, that'll never happen again. We'll never get caught that way that we did this, in the past. So I feel like they're making all these necessary adjustments so the industry does stay protected. If something happens again, and they will be able to have control of that supply chain a little bit better. So 100%.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we're going to do later in the show, we're going to do a kind of a look forward to 2023 and trends to be aware of. And just so you know, we're going to be focusing a lot on PU film, not paint protection film as you think about it, but paint protection film, let's say, for digital print, paint protection for color change. That's really going to change the ballgame, I think, moving forward, where PU would not only last longer, but I think it looks better, and in some ways is better for the environment. So really interesting.
Yeah, it at least gives people options, right? I mean, before it was hard. Say if you're working with a design community and you walk in, some say, I don't want PVC at all. This kind of let them out of the game. And so now that you walk in and say, no, we have these different ones that are not PVC based films, and it gives them some options there. So absolutely, very cool stuff. So this has been an overview of 2022 with Craig Campbell from ISA. Craig, thank you as always for your insight, and really appreciate you, man. Yeah, absolutely. We look forward to seeing everybody in Vegas in 2023.
Absolutely. The Wrap Experience and the Never Stop Learning Contest, all at the ISA Science Show. And that's April 12th through the 14th, correct, Craig?
April 12th and 14th, exactly.
All right. See you there.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, man. Ciao.
See ya.
All right, that was a great overview of 2022 with Craig Campbell. Love that guy. And as you can see, 2022 was a very interesting year. And I would like to stick with 2022 for just a little bit longer, because as Craig and I talked about, lots of mergers. And you might just think, well, let's say Ritrama got bought by Fedrigoni. What does that mean? Well, it might not sound like it means a lot, but I think long term you're going to be like, wow, something really changed with Ritrama. And that's what I want to talk about now, because luckily the Wrap Institute made some great videos for Ritrama and their new Ridecast just right before this TWI Live event. And we are lucky enough to have the people from Fedrigoni and Ritrama come here during the shoot. So we had Simona, Sarah, and Danielle. And Danielle really talked about the merger and how it all went. And so while he was telling me those stories, I was like, that would actually make a really good story for TWI Live. So we talked to Fedrigoni and Ritrama, and they said, you know what, we'd love to share that story as well. And this is what we love about the Wrap Institute, is we're not just showing you videos of techniques, we really have the story behind the story. Most of the times we can't tell you the story because we have NDAs with the company, but this one, they said, you know what, we can definitely share the story because it's fascinating, and I think it's fascinating as well. So this is a sneak peek behind the merger between Fedrigoni and Ritrama. Lots of interesting information, and then you can kind of see why these mergers are happening in many ways for the better. So with that, let's get to that interview with Danielle.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special 2022 Spotlight. And the focus is on Ritrama and Fedrigoni. And joining us today is Danielle. Danielle, do you want to introduce yourself and say what your role is at Fedrigoni and Ritrama?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Justin. Yes, I'm Daniel Perotti. I'm product manager for the graphic division at Ritrama, working since 30 years into the graphic industry.
Very cool. And a lot of you out there in the wrap industry have heard the name Ritrama, but it's actually gone through a lot of changes. Who is Ritrama today, Daniel?
Yeah, in fact, Ritrama has a very long history as manufacturer of rollable and graphic self-adhesive product. And a key point has happened in 2020 when Ritrama has been acquired by Fedrigoni Group. And now Ritrama remained the graphic brand of the group.
Okay. And then I guess the big question is, and a lot of people in the wrap industry don't know this name, and I definitely didn't know this name before we started working together, is who is Fedrigoni?
Yes, Fedrigoni is a company which has started their activity in 1888, so a very long time ago, in Italy at Verona, by producing paper. And then this company grew, and we are today employing 4,500 people all over the world, that we can split in 48 production center, slitting, distribution center, and we are present now in 138 countries.
That's a lot. And so then based on that, I guess, now that Fedrigoni has acquired Ritrama, how does that structure work? Is Ritrama going to stay its own brand, or does it be absorbed in Fedrigoni, or what is the deal there?
Yes, in fact, the Fedrigoni group has been split in two divisions. One, the first division is the Fedrigoni paper, where we are producing paper, as says the name, and we are one of the top global leader in the packaging industry, producing paper for printing, publishing, book binding, and paper for the luxury packaging. So this is the first division. And the second division is the Fedrigoni self-adhesive, which results from the union of Arconver, Manter, and Ritrama, which have merged to become the third, where we have merged the three different companies in one, in Fedrigoni self-adhesive. Our division is still very much focused onto the labeling market for applications such as pharmaceutical, hygiene, wines, and a lot of other verticals. And together, so we are representing, we are the third biggest manufacturer of labeling material in the world. Wow. And in some markets, such as the wine market, we are the first globally with more than 50% world market share. And as said previously, Justin, we also manufacture graphic material for which Ritrama remains the brand of the product into the market.
Wow. So it sounds, there's been a lot of things happening in 2022. So essentially, within 1 year, or within a year or two, Fedrigoni and Ritrama and all the mergers, now 50% of all the wine beer labels are made by Fedrigoni, and then you're the third largest self-adhesive manufacturer in the world. That's pretty impressive mergers. Based on that, then again, obviously Fedrigoni is known, now that I know, making those high-end paper products. Like, you go into Louis Vuitton, you go into Chanel, those bags are made by Fedrigoni, so very high standard. The idea is that Fedrigoni wants to bring that standard to Ritrama and make Ritrama on the same level. So how does that merger work, or what is the goals for that, or how are the assets of Fedrigoni going to help Ritrama?
Yes, effectively. So the scope is to bring up all the graphic division with the Ritrama brand to the same super high standard as we have in Fedrigoni paper. So for doing this, we are focusing to improve all our production process, or to make better product which are more matching customer needs. We are also investing far more time and energy into the marketing to bring everything at a higher level, as it is the case for all the premium paper which are manufactured and sold by our paper division.
That's very exciting. I love those. I love it when you get the assets from a bigger company that's doing things on a very high level, and it's going to raise everyone up, which I think is great. So I think based on that, then I know a few products that you're bringing out. One that was just brought out in 2022, and then also some products in 2023. What are those three main products that you're going to focus on?
So the main product that we have just launched is first Remark Platinum, which is a high quality plotter cutting film which is manufactured with the highest standard of the industry. The second, we recently introduced Reject PO 100, which is a non-PVC digitally printable film to propose to our customer also more sustainable solution. And the third launch that we are doing, this is surely not the least, we are now introducing our brand new Reject Cast Ultimate, which is a printable cast vinyl for car wrapping.
Wow. And we know that film really well at the Wrap Institute, as we just made the product and promo video for you guys. And I actually was part of that video set, and you were actually on set with your whole media crew, which was super fun and allowed us to really talk about the material. And you can see on videos in the product videos and also on the Wrap Institute that I really enjoyed putting that material on. It's super unique, much different than most of the cast films that I put on. What are the benefits that you like to share with the members of why this particular recast is so special compared to other films on the market?
In fact, the main advantages of our Reject Cast Ultimate is first the printability. This material is printable with all inkjet technologies. Second, that we have a material which is very soft, conformable to all 3D area we can find on car and on vans. We are coating this film with a low-tack adhesive, which have an excellent positioning and repositioning, and also providing a good slidability for the comfort of the installer. We have a high gloss. We are producing on polyester casting sheets, so providing a super gloss level. And the adhesive provides a clean removability when it's removed from the car. And all the product is also enjoying a 12-year durability. So these are the main characteristics, but beside them, what really makes the difference is how the film reacts during the application on complex curve that you can find on bumper, car side, etc. Effectively, when wrapping this complex area, we can observe different small folds corresponding to all the tension which has been introduced during the film installation. And what makes the difference, Justin, it's something that you have seen yourself with your own eyes, that by heating the film, all these small folds are not only disappearing, but the film itself starts shrinking to marry the surface of the car you intend to wrap. So this is really greatly facilitating the installation. This is really the main difference versus most material which are on the market today.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think during the shoot, and if those of you on the Wrap Institute, you'll see a lot of these videos of me wrapping the Tesla Model Y. And I was using the Wrap Matrix and Zero Stretch, especially with this recast, worked amazingly well, which meant I didn't have to work hard at all to get the material in the car, and it just breathed onto the car. It was really special, and I think, Danielle, you definitely saw that in person when we did the install. So if you are going to use this material, I highly recommend using Zero Stretch and the Wrap Matrix. And based on this, you guys aren't the first player to the cast market, but again, how do you feel about your material right now compared to others?
We are very happy about the level of quality and performance we have reached. Now, we need to bring it to the market, to advertise it, to introduce it, and to show the difference that we have the beneficial point of our material versus all the existing material into the market. So we will show it in different exhibitions. We'll be together with you. This is the start, I think, of a long and good collaboration.
I think so too. And I love you have a great phrase in regards to your product that I think people out there will enjoy.
Yes, I have a small slogan that I would like to share with the audience is, when you are the last to enter a market, you need to be the best.
And for me, that really kind of encapsulates the whole Fedrigoni-Ritrama merger. And I think that's what kind of the aim that you guys are going for, is to be the best in the market. So I think with the recast and your initial products that you're coming out with right now, very high quality, very good stuff. So for those of you out watching there, you're going to hear the name Ritrama more and more. And that's thanks to Danielle and what he's doing on his side, and also the merger. So with that, thank you so much for being part of this TWI Spotlight, Danielle, and I appreciate you being on.
Thank you. Good evening, Justin, and the audience.
Okay.
Good evening.
Ciao.
Bye.
Eu teria investido em conhecimento e boas ferramentas bem mais cedo, com certeza. Eu acho que o que me fez mudar realmente foi começar os trabalhos junto com o Wrap Institute em 2015. Isso acabou ampliando meus horizontes dentro da indústria do envelopamento mundial de uma maneira incrível, assim, demais. Em primeiro lugar, um buffer bom, mas também uma espátula boa, uma micro espátula, um dispenser para lâmina, que a gente tem que cuidar da segurança, e também um bom soprador térmico. Never stop learning.
All right, we are back and ready to rock and roll with workshop number 2. In this one, I'm going to be wrapping this fender here with PVC color change film, in this case from APA. Reiner is going to be wrapping the other fender with PPF film. So the focus of this is on intermediate installers. So we've covered the basics, and now I want to talk about how to relax the material around something like a fender so that it's not overstretched, really good quality, strong corner game, all that kind of good stuff. So for me at the Wrap Institute, we always talk about breaking things down into prep, install, and post. What we've done in this fender is we've cleaned it, clay barred it, degreased it, got it ready to rock and roll. And then right before I install, there's just a few baby steps that I really highly recommend you take the time to do. Where in this case, I'm going to put a little bit of masking tape here to lower the surface energy. I want to tuck the material into this gap right to here. So put a little sliver of masking tape and do the same thing here. So I'm going to take the material or take the masking tape and get it right to the edge. And this only takes a few seconds. And just to my left that I see out of the corner of my eye, I see that wheel well cover there. And I love this wheel well cover because it's keeping a lot of the dirt from sneaking up on there. Don't need to put masking tape here, but I got the A-pillar here. Put a little bit of masking tape here. Got everything good to here because it's kind of floaty corner. So just a little bit of masking tape only takes a few seconds. Now, car's on a race ramp, so it's in a comfortable position. Got my heat gun close. All my tools are here. Tool cart there. Tool belt on. So I'm ready to focus and good to go. I don't have my tools over there. So now I'm going to take my tack cloth, go from the high side here, go back and forth all the way down from top to bottom. Good to go. Once everything's set, what I did earlier is I cut the material to size. So I'm going to pick it up to here and place it on the fender. So now everything's set up here, and out of the corner of my eye, because Reiner is a great installer and he knows how to anticipate, he's already sneaking up close because we at the Wrap Institute have a phrase, Reiner, called yo-yo moment. So right now, I could wrap this fender by myself, but I'm not going to because Reiner's here. So it always helps to have an extra set of hands. And before Reiner releases the cap sheet right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give a quick burst on the cap sheet. And the reason why I do that is now when Reiner pulls the cap sheet now, it's not going to produce a lot of static, and that static is not going to pull any sneaky dust that even though I've cleaned really good, and I've did an air compressor at the beginning right now, Reiner can remove that cap sheet and we're good to go. So he's kind of pulling the film. And very good tip when you pull the cap sheet is don't pull it high and wide, you want to pull it low and flat. And what I like to do is kind of fold it, and once I get it set to there, pull it down, immediately goes in the trash. Why, Reiner? Because?
Recycling. And
your workspace reflects your wrap. Cool. So now what we're going to do right now, and this is interesting, Reiner, is see the shape. We happened to talked about starting at the 50-50 point. So we're actually going to take the material, and we're not going to just place it on there. We're going to be smart. We're going to start thinking about the wrap matrix, where we're actually going to kind of pull hard against that spot, and that's going to help us during the install. So let's do it. So we're going to go full cowboy. Release the liner right now. So what Reiner and I are going to do now is we're just going to actually pull quite hard to ourselves, and then we're going to bring the material into the car. And that's what all I needed Reiner for right now is just to kind of do that. Cool.
Bye.
Thank you, Reiner. Awesome. So the reason why I did that right now is we put a little bit of energy in the film right along that 50-50 point. Now, let's go back to that beginning workshop that we talked about earlier. What's the deal with this material that I'm working with now? PVC. This material wants to shrink because we stretched it a little bit. And we didn't do zero stretch right now, so there's actually even more energy in the material. So Reiner and I goosed it a little bit, put some energy in the material, and it's going to allow the material to shrink. Now, what I'm known for, and you may be seeing the video online of me on YouTube where I wrapped a hood of a car in 2016 at the Amsterdam FESPA show, and it's got 7 million views, and I talked about triangles. And I was a big triangle guy for years. So what I normally used to do back in the day is I would create a plus sign, and basically what Reiner and I did just now is we goosed the material, and we created a line. I'm going to squeegee it on right now. So I'm basically doing what I did in 2016 by doing that line in the middle, that hinge that I talked about. And I'd say we're going to create a plus sign, and I used to do triangles. So I used to stand here, pick up the material, and really pull the material to get rid of these wrinkles, and do the same thing down here and do the same thing down here. But I don't do that anymore because now that I know about zero stretch, I'm going to let the material do the wrapping for me. So instead of doing triangles, I'm going to do pyramids. Now before I do that now, what do I see on the material right now? I look for tension. So I look for wrinkles. So I see tension coming from the door. So I'm actually going to pick up the material just a little bit and make a relief cut. So now I pick the material up to here, and now the material is just going to float. So instead of doing triangles now, look what I'm doing. I'm pulling with a line down here, and what that's going to do now is, watch, I'm going to take the heat gun, and this is that Weldy heat gun we showed, and I'm going to let the material shrink into the car. So as I add heat right now, watch what happens. The material sucks onto the car and is actually shrinking into the body while I pull straight down. And look how that heat kind of evens the film. And I work from top to bottom, and voila, I didn't do anything. I literally pulled in a straight line. Because now instead of doing triangles, because I'm thinking 3D, I pull straight this way, which allows the material to go this way. And now that material's set, remember I talked about that properties of the adhesive today. Well, now look how easy it is for me to squeegee, because now I don't get air bubbles. I apply pressure, and once I apply pressure, it sticks. Voila, super easy. Even down here, I don't have a lot of tension in the material, but I can pick it up now, let it sit. Instead of pulling the material now, I'm going to let the material shrink. And look at my hand. My free hand is just holding the material lightly off the surface, and look how it shrinks into the cars. Super flat. I let it relax now, and once it cools, it goes down right onto the surface in one squeegee stroke, and I'm not working at all, and that's the beauty of Wrap Matrix and Zero Stretch. Now I come over here. See these wrinkles here? Okay. I'm going to shift position now. Watch. Because Reiner and I goosed it earlier, I see some tension here. I got the corner coming up over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the material again, just like I did earlier, and I'm going to make a careful relief cut. So now the material is already starting to wrap because I made that relief cut. But watch what I can do. I'm going to take the heat gun right now, lightly hold it off, and see how the material shrinks to the surface. Like it literally shrank right to there, and I could just squeegee it right on. I have the wrinkles here, so again, instead of doing triangles now, look, I just hold it with my finger, come in with the heat gun, and I just go back and forth, and my squeegee now is my heat gun, where I get it to here, and I can just kind of literally shake the film down, pull it to here. I'm not pulling hard at all. I just pull smart. Awesome. So once I have that set to here, same thing. I can take the material now, pick it up nice and high, and I can heat from below, and that's going to cause the material to shrink into the car, and it's kind of wrapping that recessed area for me. So once I get it to there now, I can take the material, I can let it sit, see how it's kind of wrapping that recessed area for me, and then I take the material. I'm not going to get bubbles now because I can slice that air out, take it into here, and look how easily it relaxes into here. The same thing here. Watch. Pick up the material, hold it light away, and let it shrink on to the surface. You see it glass out. And now for me, the material, look, if I let it go, look how it just kind of snaps into the car, and now squeegee it on. So before, I used to work really hard when I used to wrap cars. I'd pull super hard, I'd make my relief cuts, I'd really beast the material onto the car. When I taught workshops, people were like, oh my God, you're making the car move. I don't do that anymore. The reason why I don't make the car move is because all that energy I was taking to get those wrinkles out is actually in the material. So if I do this now, watch how the material, just by pulling in the right direction, glasses out. Cool. I don't have to do anything more because all that energy that was put into the material, in this case, by APA at the manufacturing facility, is wrapping the car for me. That is the power of Wrap Matrix and Zero Stretch, even just on a simple fender like this. So it's all about getting a yo-yo moment from Reiner, then making some relief cuts, and then shrinking the material into the car. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I didn't do anything because wrapping is super easy. Then, when it comes to finishing right now, remember we talked about kind of getting that right workflow. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do corners. So I'm going to pick up the material nice and high. I'm going to hook the corner nice and deep. And at the Wrap Institute, we have so many great videos on corners. Actually, in August, we launched 2. One is 4 tips on how to get strong corners with PVC film, and one is how to use the wrap matrix with PVC film or PPF film. And Ryan's going to show that in the advanced class. So the idea right now is get a strong corner game, do all your corners first, then finish the fender. But you understand the process now of starting at the 50-50 point, don't do triangles anymore, do pyramids, relax the material into the car by using a heat gun a lot, but heat gun not to stretch, but to shrink. And then you get a great quality finish that has 0 adhesive lines, looks like paint, and then you're ahead of the curve. So with that now, again, this is intermediate wrapping for PVC film. I want to turn it over to Reiner Lorz over there, and he's going to show how to do a similar technique with PPF film, but slightly different. Reiner, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. And you know, always the nice things, I tell always the story about bad things turning into good things. So if you think about, oh, it's not sticking, so PPF, it's not sticking, of course we use slip solutions to put it on, great. You know, then I can work a little bit different. So on the other side, we try to pull before put it on. When we touch the surface, the material is sticking on the surface, and then we need to work it out. So this means we need to stretch it before and put it on. What I can do with PPF, of course I work with a slip solution, is spray everything on and then stretch from the middle in the right direction. I use the same logic as Justin on the other side, without any heat gun. Of course the material by itself is super flexible, but we use the logic, the metrics, what we say, the Wrap Institute metrics for this. So it's a complete workshop. It means we show everything what I would do regular. The car is clean, regular clean, but I definitely want to go over before I start even wrapping and use a clay towel like this and try to get all the small specks away. Okay, in the regular life, if I have more time than 10 minutes for this, I would go over with the towel, wipe it down, and also maybe polish it. Depends on the quality from the paint. But this is definitely a thing I want to do. Next thing what I do is I work with the steamer, and I work with the steamer not even to heat the material, also to clean. So it's difficult to clean around the edges here. And when I work with some alcohol is not really good for the PPF, so I spray around here with a surface cleaner, and maybe the alcohol goes back under the PPF film, sorry for this, PPF film, so it definitely affects the glue. So with the steamer, I only have water, so I can clean really well. It's a little bit noisy. I even can clean all the surface, the regular one, and get all maybe some, I say oil or something what is on the surface or wax, also because we have a heat run over 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, wipe it down with a good microfiber towel. Okay, get everything. Good that it sticks on the end, but one problem, microfiber towel, maybe bring some dust, some dirt back. So what I do again, I spray it on and wipe it down. Clean the corner of the squeegee and now wipe it down. So just use on the other side a towel, some small honey towels. So, and there he can catch all the dust. I don't need to catch the dust, I just wash and rinse it down and push it away. So now the surface is pretty clean for myself, not even for myself, also for the PPF. I prepare a little bit of material to put it on and spray again. Here I use my slip solution, the Ape slip solution for this, and the yo-yo moment. Okay, so just releasing it. Also, spray the front.
See, again, this is a good example where I don't have to take a shower. So this is one of the benefits of PPF, kind of we don't talk about a lot. So Reiner peels the liner. Again, this liner right now is bone dry, so if we touch it with our fingers, going to leave some fingerprints, so don't touch the live wrap areas with that. Spray with the slip solution now. And the slip solution, Reiner, is very important. You want to get it right. And I see a lot of people with PPF get slip solutions wrong. Biggest thing with slip solutions you want to think about, especially intermediate installers, is distilled water, very important. And then play with samples ahead of time. Reiner showed you how well it tacked. Get the right solution. That can vary based on where you're at, what type of solution you're using. Always play with scraps, dial it in, then you're good to go. So Reiner, do you need me anymore, or are you good?
I'm good. Now I can work by myself or only with the material. So I try to work with the material, not against the material. It's a good example. So I want to slide it over. This is what I want to have. Bad things, if you have a bad slip solution, that it sticks intermediately. It's good when it slides, because then I can work from the middle. So then I can place it. You see, before I make a little bit few relief cuts, because I see there's tension here on the top. The material will flip away or push away. Good. What I can do, I have a knife and I have problems. So with the knife, I can always cut my problems away. Super easy. Break it and the problems are gone. So cool to have a knife in the pocket for working. So rip this away, looking good. So now only I go with my hands over the surface and try to make the PPF uniform to the surface. We talked about the wrinkles before. There were wrinkles here, so push to the side just with my hand, and I go low and push down here. So for me it looks pretty good. You see the wrinkle, what happens if I push to the left side? Perfect. Checking all the corners. If I cover everything, now I can run over with my squeegee. The top is also wet, so it can slide really good over the surface. And now I squeegee all the moisture out. How easy is it? From the top to the bottom. If something happened, something bad happened, then expect good. We have a slip solution. We work with a slip solution. This means it not sticks intermediately. So I can lift again and say maybe have a dirt or something under here, lift it again, spray it again, no rush, just work it down easily. There's a lot of smile in the face, okay? PPF is nothing for rush. PPF is something what you need to enjoy and where you need to have a lot of patience for it. So 10 times squeegeeing makes it not better, but 10 minutes, not 10 minutes, but few minutes, let's say 1 minute, just holding the film down makes it different. I can squeegee 10 times, makes no difference. I can just hold it for a few seconds, that makes a difference. Now it sticks, okay? So working out to the top, and I now here it lifts a little bit. I have a little bit of tension on the corner. I want to have it more sticky. So what I use here, I want to wash out my slip solution. And this is what I want to do with my tech solution. My tech solution is only distilled water, nothing else. It's only to rinse down, wash down the soap. So if I go here, just wash this away a lot. Okay, then I can go over with the regular squeegee on the side, on the top, and it sticks intermediately. Good. Then we're actually pretty good to go. I grabbed my knife, and I don't know how much time we have left, but I think for a quick cut is always good. So what I do, I use my black knives, click the blade directly at the beginning. It's always good. And now I cut the material. Here, in this example, I cut it shorter. So you can cut it longer or shorter, but not directly on the corner. It will lift and go away. So I slide with my blade around here, and I don't know how much guys around here really excited about to cut on an expensive car. So please practice before. Don't try this at home intermediately. So, but what I do, I try to break the material so I can rip it off. You see, in this direction, I can break it. If I would lift it in this direction, it's still one piece. So I'm super safe. Don't cut through the material. I just make a score here where I can break the material. It looks super nice, super fine, so you actually don't see anything. And here I could continue on the whole car or whole fender, cutting around and have on the end a nice PPF job on the fender.
Awesome.
What I really hope that you're taking away from both these demos that Reiner and I are doing right now is the idea right now is, you can tell that Reiner is not working hard. He's just working smart. He's starting on that 50-50 line, same one I did over there. He made relief cuts just like I made, and then kind of is pulling in the same direction. In my case, I'm actually shrinking the material because it already has built-in tension. With PPF film, it doesn't have that built-in tension, so Reiner can kind of spread it out once he gets that right workflow. But for me, it's just nice, easy, steady. For me personally, I've been wrapping for 26 years. Reiner's been wrapping for a long time. I've enjoyed my partnership with Reiner immensely because we're really understanding the material on a deeper level than I ever had before. I'm working less hard with higher quality and great workflow, as you can see on that fender. Didn't work at all. What did the work? Well, knowledge and understanding of the material that I got from basically good basics, good fundamentals, having the right heat guns and tools, but having that yo-yo moment and that right stretch and getting that workflow. As you can see, wrapping these fenders are super easy, and we're going to take that same logic in just a little bit, and we're going to be wrapping this front bumper. As you're going to see, it's going to be super easy because we're going to really take it deep with the wrap matrix and zero stretch, and then Reiner's going to show how to get those strong corners with PPF. So this has been an intermediate workshop from the Wrap Institute. It's a big thank you for being part of this event and being part of the Wrap family. We love to share this information, love to train. For me, again, Reiner, wrapping, if you have a smile on your face, you're doing it right.
Yeah, you have fun with the things and you actually see. So you see nothing. This is fun for me.
Yeah.
If you see nothing, it's worse for you. If you see nothing on the end of the car, so you want to change the color. I want to protect the car. So it's a little bit different, but on the end, it's the same. We have fun with our job.
We're flowing the material in the car. We're not fighting the material. I think that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
So with that, now what I'd like to do is, Reiner, we have a really cool look ahead to 2023. We have exclusive interview with Michael from Yellotools. Lots of information with there. So I say let's jump to that.
Jump to that.
Cool.
What's going on, everybody? This is Charlie Trujillo from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma with Lettering Express LE Wraps. Tuning in on a Monday. Hope all is well. All right, first tool I would suggest would be the wrap tool, the wrap glove. This would be the Ghost. Big fan. It's slidable in all temperatures, so outside, inside. Super great. I think it also kind of helps protect your hand as well. I got this Masters of Branding branded up one. I love it. Love the green. Looks awesome. This is going to be the Avery Dennison Flex Stream. It has a blue partner in crime as well. I always say these are the best team members to have on your side. They always work well together. They never complain, and they always show up. Well, you don't lose them. But there's a blue one that goes along with it. Red one's a little softer. Red one's a little harder. Good stuff. Anti-cutter. It's a multi-cartridge blade. Super big fan. It's plastic, symmetrical, yellow. I like it. Ever new, ever sharp. That's their slogan. Super good stuff. Fourth would be the 3M Gold Squeegee paired up with a monkey buffer. I love it. Shout out to Gimas and his great products. Big fan. And then lastly would be the blade cage. Big fan of this. This is just a blade disposal vessel. This is a good one. I like it because you get one, you're never gonna have to get another one again. I think I have 3 of them, mainly just to be switching it out. Love the magnetic feature on it. Always awesome to have those blades stay towards the bottom, not falling out of my pocket. So big fan. If I was gonna throw one more on the list for you, I would say a backing slitter tool. This is a good product always, especially the Teflon footing, always great. With those ones will get the job done usually. Back in the day, whenever I first started wrapping, or I start getting our business in order and started trying to grow that aspect of it, at least wrapping, I was a little shy to communicate with the local competition. But in reality, if we all work together, it's a much better situation. So we're not all just kind of shooting in the dark a little bit. So for example, if my wrap price point is $5,000 and for the exact same product down the street, they're charging $2,500, the client is not going to understand the value in that difference. Yeah, I can say I'm certified. Yeah, I can say, look at my beautiful shop. I've been in business for 35 years, whatever that may be. They're still not going to understand the value there. If someone in your market is doing great work and they're charging $3,000 less than you, it wouldn't be a bad idea to touch base them and say, hey, your product is worthwhile, so definitely up that up. Mainly, is it's helping everyone in the market. I mean, it's so simple. I had someone here in Oklahoma doing that, and I touched base and was like, hey, your work is better than that, you should charge more. And then, now they're selling their wraps for more. And now it also helps me, because whenever I have a job and it's getting quoted, or it's getting, the client is calling around, it doesn't sound crazy when there's a $3,000 jump or a $2,000 jump. I would utilize social media, but I would realize it's not real. I think that's a huge one. I focused on those followers and the engagement and all that stuff. And once I put my head down and actually got to work, the followers never came, which I'm not too concerned about, but mainly the sales started coming in and the word of mouth started coming in, and it really just started making everything worthwhile. Social media can let you down, and for me, it was really bumming me out. It's like, why are we not seeing that growth, whatever. But in reality, when I just paid attention to my job and making the customers happy and servicing the clients and giving the best product I possibly can, it kind of came full circle at that moment in time. So don't get stuck on the social media aspect. Utilize it to your advantage. It's a great opportunity for your clients to see your work and to get the idea of your culture, but also it's not real. Tuning out from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, whatever you're into. Hope it's lovely. I will see you in 2023. As the Wrap Institute always says, never stop learning. See you on the other side. Hope all is well. Cheers. Bye-bye.
2023 looks to be a very interesting and exciting year for the wrap industry, even with a recession, if not here already, looming for the first half of 2023. Now, the Wrap Institute agrees with what Craig Campbell said earlier in that the wrap industry is uniquely set to grow, whether it's going to be an economic downturn or an upturn, which is great for us. That being said, with the recession especially, advanced education is more important than ever. Getting a membership on the Wrap Institute is always really important. Taking a hands-on workshop from a wide variety of manufacturers out there, or even the Wrap Institute, and also going to sign shows. Now keep in mind that the Wrap Institute will be at all the sign shows worldwide with a huge presence. We'll be at Pate in Germany with a giant booth at the end of March, Wrap Fest in England at the end of April, FESPA in Munich at the end of May, WrapsCon in August, and especially at the ISA Sign Show in Las Vegas in April with the Wrap Experience and our super popular Never Stop Learning contest. I really hope you can join the Wrap Institute at these shows because we've put together amazing demos, obviously great contests, and even workshops. Cool. Now, in terms of 2023 trends, look for the crossover of industries to accelerate more and more. Detailers learning how to wrap, wrappers learning how to detail, and so on. Here's a perfect example. In the Avery Dennison hands-on workshops that I teach in North America, I usually have, let's say, 16, 18 people in the workshop. I would say 3 to 4 are detailers wanting to learn how to wrap, 2 or 3 are window tinters wanting to learn how to wrap, and also I would say the rest are true beginners, never picked up a squeegee. So for me, there's a huge crossover of industries, but also a lot of people who are thinking, wow, I'm sick of my job, and I think wrapping is a good one. And at the Wrap Institute, we really agree with that. So look for a big trend of crossover and new people coming into the industry in 2023. Now, a big trend in 2023 through I think is very important for all of you to think about is PU films, but not in the way you might traditionally think. Because normally PU films, PPF films, are gloss and matte, and they go on to protect cars. I think this is going to continue to grow for sure as customers appreciate the benefits in terms of protection and also, let's say, those top coats of ceramic coating. But the big shift of PU films in 2023 will be for full print digital films and color change, and this at the Wrap Institute we find very interesting. Now, before I get into the specifics of all the details and trends, a big picture view of why PU films are in many ways better than PVC films, especially for full print digital and color change, are better warranty, oftentimes 2 to 3 times longer, same conformability if not better, especially for those deep recessed areas, easier removals, and for color change films, they look way better. And the most important for us at the Wrap Institute is better for the environment. At the Wrap Institute, we have always had an eye out for the environment. We started our Green Equals Green program back in 2018, and this trend towards PU films across all facets, full print digital, protection, and color change, is exciting on many levels. Now for those specifics. More and more manufacturers will be coming out with PU or PVC-free digital full print film in 2023. For example, the Wrap Institute made the product and promotional video for the Orful 3971, which is what they call a customizable PU film. Really cool. This already launched in Europe in 2022 and it'll launch in America in 2023. Avery Dennison in Europe launched the PVC free film MPI 1504. This launched in 2022, and a version of this will come out in North America in 2023. And Fedrigoni will launch their Ryjet P0100 digital full print film in 2023 as well. Now keep in mind that digital print PU films for now are more expensive than the PVC versions, which is a lot of customers will still choose PVC. But look for this to change in 2023 and beyond. And the reason why is more and more manufacturers are making their PU film in-house. Craig Campbell mentioned this earlier as well. This means because the manufacturers make it in-house as opposed to buying PU from third parties, it means that price difference will become the same as PVC, and the option to choose PU is definitely there. Now in regards to color change films, they too will become more and more PU based as opposed to PVC in 2023 and beyond. Now up until late, let's say 2021, early 2022, there were color change PU films, but they could only be installed wet. GSWF really pushed color change films starting a few years ago along with, let's say, STEC. Yet the wet apply is a longer install process, more expensive, and is focused on installers who only know how to apply wet PPF. In late 2021, early 2022, FlexiShield launched a hybrid PU color change film that could be installed dry, which opened up the PU market to a much, much wider audience. Now for 2023, we have a very good idea at the Wrap Institute which brands will be launching a true 100% PU color change film. This gives you and your customers way more options to choose from. And note that just like the full print digital PU films, the color change PU films are going to be more expensive than the PVC-free versions, at least starting in 2023. We'll look for that to change in 2024 and beyond. But even with PU films being more expensive than PVC color change films, I think the benefits of PU films totally outweigh PVC-free films. Because as I said earlier, PU films look better than PVC films, the durability, especially on hoods and roofs, is way higher, and the benefits that they can put in the top coat, like the ceramic coatings, wow, totally amazing. So even though the customer's maybe spending a little more for PU color change film, it looks better, holds up better, and durability is great. Now, one trend to also keep in mind that for terms of the environment is liners are going to be more recyclable in 2023 and beyond. Weldy, who makes a lot of liners for the manufacturers, now has a liner that is made out of 100% recycled paper. Really cool. Still doesn't mean the liner is 100% recyclable once you're done, but that'll also change in 2023. So look for more environmentally friendly films, more environmentally friendly liners. So for me, this is a huge one for the environment and for your profits. Now, one very interesting trend to look out for in 2023 doesn't have anything to do with tools or material, it has to do with marketing. Now, let's take, for example, Inesotech. They've always been good at marketing, and they think really well outside the box, and they did so really well at the end of 2022, and look for them to do more in 2023. And what they did is they collaborated with a company called Antisocial Social Club online, and it's been a huge success in terms of getting more customers and brand awareness. So as the wrap industry crossover continues, let's say from detailers, PPF, window tint, also look for that crossover to continue for brands that maybe you wouldn't associate with the wrap industry. Because as the wrap industry gets bigger and bigger, there's ways to kind of get your company kind of more well-known and more profits in ways that you might not even thought of. And lastly, one trend to be very keenly aware of is technology, which, as I'm sure you know, is moving faster and faster than ever, especially in the wrap industry. XIX launched the Xeno X in 2022, which I think is a groundbreaking program. More and more wrap shops are also waking up to the power of programs, let's say like Trello or Monday, to organize and run their companies. Because these kind of platforms really help with communication, which at the Wrap Institute we firmly believe is the key to success of any wrap shop, whether it be PPF, detailing, color change, or full print. Now, in addition to online tech, the machines that make our tools and equipment are getting better and better, as I'm sure you've noticed. This means the quality of our tools is higher and more reliable, and more importantly, and this is really cool, tools can go from concept to market much quicker than they ever could. I don't think anyone in the wrap industry is doing this any better than Yellotools. So what I like to do now is talk with Michel Althoff, who's the owner of Yellotools, because what they've done in terms of equipment and how they're making tools right now is super advanced and cutting edge. Because what they're doing is they're not only working both on equipment, but they're working with their lean philosophy and how they run their company. And that combination is really special.
because it's really creating a fine-tuned work atmosphere that's producing high-quality products at very good prices. And companies even like Kia and Mercedes are visiting Yellotools to learn how to run their companies, which tells you something. So with that, let's get to Michael. All right, we are joined with Michael from Yellotools. Michael, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
So, Michael, the focus of this is looking ahead to 2023. The topic is technology, especially within the wrap industry. And I just kind of gave you guys some props. I don't think anyone's doing technology or riding the wave of technology better than Yellotools right now. I think a good example of this is your machines and your technology that you guys have invested in, especially the last 3 or 4 years. 4 years ago, we did a What's in Your Wrap Shop at Yellotools. If we did that again today, totally different setup in terms of machines. Yeah. What machines have you invested in the last 3 or 4 years?
Well, I mean, we want to be independent to pretty much all the third hand parties and stuff. So we invested a lot in CNC routing. Like we have a 3X and a 5X now. We have our own laser cutter up to 14 millimeter steel, and we invested in brand new injection molding machines because the evolving technology in that is just like crazy good.
So you have a lot of toys, and I think it was interesting, especially with a lot of wrap shops today. You have your own printer, you like your printer, you're doing your own thing. A lot of people don't like to change gears, but I think it's extremely important to do. You've invested a lot of money and time getting up to speed. How has that helped you not only in 2022, but also how you kind of are pivoting to 2023 in terms of workflow tools and innovations?
I mean, you all face the issues we had over the last 2 years. Other people complain about, short on people, short on material, short on this, short on that. If you are under control yourself of the whole chain, then it's only you being the bottleneck in it. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be depending on other people's will or mood or whatsoever. I want to go down to the shop floor. Hey, Peter. Hey, Jonas. Oh, Stefan. Can you do this and this and that? And they go and do it. All these people who don't have a printer, for instance, they have to rely on someone printing for them. And we all know what the problem might be every now and then. If these people have gaps in their production line, you're welcome. But once they are busy, you are at the end of the queue. And I don't want to be at the end of the queue, never, ever. I want to be under control.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of, actually, that's a very interesting thing that you're saying right now, because earlier we just talked about in 2023, PU films are going to be big, and a lot of manufacturers more and more are actually making their own PU in-house where they used to get a third party. We're talking about a big crossover where a lot of wrap shops now used to, if they wanted something ceramic coating, used to send it down the street to a detailer, but now they're not doing that because they want to keep everything in-house, and a lot of detailers are learning how to wrap. So it seems like more and more the push is to do it all yourself under one roof, which is cool. That moves us to now to one thing of the things that I think Yellotools does really great is you guys really listen to your customers. You take a lot of their ideas and turn them into tools, your DBS system, which is great. How has your technology and invest in technology and also your communication, let's say on Trello, allowed you to go from idea to, like, let's say, selling the product in store quicker, better than ever, especially looking forward to 2023?
I mean, that's dramatic, to be honest, since like I said, I can go down in the shop and say, hey, I have an idea. Can you CNC cut me this? Can you laser cut me that? And I do it right there, and I can send that prototype out to the person who came up with the idea. You mentioned DBS, which stands for Designed by a Sign Maker. I send it to that sign maker who came up with the idea, or I send it to my beta testers and say, what do you think about it? What we need to improve? And especially injection molding, I mean, even if you make a test mold, like an aluminum test mold, to see how the product feels like, it's a week or two on the machine, and you have to have the machine available for 2 weeks just to play around with it, and that's a no-go. So now we can use the technology of 3D print a mold, which is ridiculous. It's only good for 10 or 15 shots, but hey, bottom line, overnight I can make an injection mold and say, hey, look, this is how it feels. What do you think? And man, this speeds up everything a lot.
So your combination in terms of manufacturing, again, I know a lot of people aren't making your own tools, but now you have laser cutters, you have the CNC routers, you have 3D printers and stuff like that, and that's allowing you to really hone that process. And for those of you out there who maybe don't, let's say you focus on printing or installing, you might have the best tools, you might have the best printers, but if you don't have the best system behind that, what's the point? And I think what you guys do at Yellotools, especially you've been pushing the lean philosophy now for about 15 years, you've honed lean over the years. Can you quickly tell people kind of what the lean philosophy is, just kind of how you guys use it, and how that kind of streamlined flow within your company and your workers is allowing you to have that ultimate communication with ultimate technology?
Well, the answer is no, I can't. No, honestly, trying to explain lean in less than 2 minutes is not possible. But I can short it out and say it's all about communication. It's all about building up a big, huge brain combined of 30, 40 persons. So if it's just only me coming up with ideas or trying to solve problems, it's not possible. It's simply not possible. But if you connect all the brains together and you also get fresh views out of the tunnel, you know what I mean? So you ask you guys down at the shipping department, hey, what do you think about that tool? And they ask you, what is it for? You try to explain, and if you have to explain way too much, then you know it's fucked up. You have to be more simple. So communication is really a key, and lean is all about putting the mistake in the focus of everything. Means if a mistake happens, never blame a person, always attack the process. Ask the why 5 times to find the real reason for the problem. So if you attack persons and if you always blame other people on, hey, you fucked it up, you stupid or whatsoever, then you don't go anywhere. If you learn that the mistake actually gives you a trigger, hey, this needs to be improved, and then you never have that problem anymore, it's awesome. It's again, it's not possible to really explain it deeply enough. But for me, we're doing lean about 15 years, I would say. For me, there's no way back, no way to do anything else but that. Put your people in the center. Your people are the most important force in your life. That's how I can tell it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's for 2023. I definitely see it within a lot of shops, is going from, let's say, learning how to wrap to running a business, focusing on things like Lean, Trello, Monday, really honing that communication. And then if obviously you add in the technology, cool. Because I think also a trend for 2023 and beyond, especially, Michael, you and I have seen the industry go from infancy to now kind of a teenage years, but there's definitely a maturation in the industry where even owners like yourself or like, even me, we're learning to have a good system on the, within the company that allows us to kind of have freedom and enjoy life. It seems like that there's a really push in 2023, maybe brought on by COVID a little bit, but finding that really good work-life balance. Yes, we love what we do for business, but we also love to explore and travel and have a good life as well. If you have a good team, you can do that.
Well, there's no need to have a work-life balance if you have a job you love.
Yes.
That's really what I think. If you are excited on Friday afternoon to go back to work Monday morning, that's life for me at all.
Yeah.
But let me explain it in a very good way. What I learned over the last 2 months, and I think this is the most spectacular thing I've ever learned in my entire life, is if you see companies talk about their strategy, this is the goal for 2023. This is what we're going. We want to be CO2 friendly. We want to be whatever. What do you want to be? You put it on high glossy catalogs or on your social media accounts, and this is going to be wow. But you forgot that you have a culture in your shop. Your people, the people around you, your suppliers, your customers, all build up a culture over the last 2 years. If this culture is not supporting, understanding, or fighting against the strategy you have, then you can't go anywhere. And we're living in wild times. We have the war over here, we had COVID, and we have all of that problems, meaning you are changing constantly. But you can't just change your strategy. You also have to change or adapt your culture to go there. And I don't know if you ever heard about Peter Drucker, the guy, he came up with the saying. He said, culture eats strategy for breakfast, and that's exactly what I've learned. You know, we have these big dreams, we have these big goals, but you need to have your culture following that strategy, and this is what you guys should not get out of your focus.
Cool. I think that's great advice, and I'd say the obvious takeaway from this one I'm coming with is, really invest in technology. Don't be afraid of doing that. Marry that with good communication, but also start thinking about culture, and let your company be your own island and your mountain to grow on.
Put your people in the center.
Yep.
It's not all about you. It's not about your money, your efficiency, your margin, or whatsoever. It's all about your people, and that is the one thing you need to learn for 2023, and that's what I will do. And I know that I'm going to be I know I will grow next year because I put my people first.
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in you, Michael, and Yellotools and your company. So obviously, thank you so much for taking the time to be the part of the TWI 2022 wrap up and this 2023 look ahead. Special what you're doing, Michael. You're the man.
You guys all have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and you all stay safe and healthy.
Cool. You too, my man. Cheers. Thank you.
Hey fellow Wrap Institute members, my name is Madison and my shop name is Second Skin. We are located in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. I would have to say that using different types of vinyl really expanded and enhanced my skills as an installer, and also helped me understand more of a business perspective. Certain vinyls cost more, certain vinyls take longer, certain vinyls are a completely different install. So when I started using all types of vinyl, I found I gained more knowledge. My first tool, I would have to go with my squeegee. The second tool would have to be my art blade. The third one, I was back and forth between a knifeless tape or my glove. I chose my glove. The fourth one was my heat gun, because I can't do anything without my heat gun. And then the fifth one was my tucking tool, just because it helps to get that really clean finish. Obviously, I like finishing. I love, it's just satisfying to me. So those would be my 5 tools if I could only pick 5. But I wish you all the best, happy holidays, and happy new year.
All right, workshop number 3, ready to rock and roll. We are going to focus on advanced techniques in this one. I'll be wrapping this bumper PVC film. Reiner is going to show great corner game techniques with PPF film using the wrap matrix. Now, on this bumper, what I want to set the table with is how I used to wrap a bumper. Talked earlier on the fender how I used to use a lot of triangles. Well, on the bumper I used to use a lot of triangles too, where I normally start here, lock it in, have a yo-yo moment, Reiner would hold the material, and then I'd pull the material in that triangle shape. So I'd pull 45 this way, 45 this way. Once I max my arms out, I'd shift it forward and pull again. So I'm putting a lot of my own muscle into the wrap. Reiner's kind of pulling hard. Maybe sometimes we heat. We work the material around, which gets it around, but again, a lot of my own energy going into the material. And by stretching it, we neutralize some wrinkles here, but we actually stretch it over sections that we now at the wrap institute call mouth. So we're stretching the material over mouth that needs material, and we're stretching the material on the corners, which is good, but it's still putting tension in the film. Have a lot of tension down on this bottom side, so a lot of work to get the bumper on, and obviously did a good job because I've been wrapping for a long time, but a lot of work to get it on. With the wrap matrix, now again, we're not using triangles, we're using pyramids. So what Reiner and I are going to do is going to start here, but we're going to allow the material, because it has built-in tension from the factory, to shrink into the car, and then Reiner's going to pull it with that one line as opposed to a triangle, and then it's going to shrink into the body. So we're actually bringing the car into the material as opposed to forcing the material onto the car. You have to get that logic. So with that now, Reiner's going to join me. And we got this material now. This material, as I talked earlier, this is Fedrigoni. This is Ritrama's Rye Cast. So basically what it is a great cast film. Has a nice lamination on top. I'm going to pull the liner right now. Set the liner to there. Then Reiner basically going to set the material right on so it has enough top to bottom. Reiner, are you good there? Cool? Okay. And what's cool about this pattern right now, I think I just have to go up just a little bit, Reiner, if you could. Cool. I think that looks pretty good. This is something that we did when we first introduced the wrap matrix, Reiner, is we like to use this grid pattern because I think it really shows where you can stretch the film and where you don't want to stretch the film, which is the outside.
Yeah, and you have always, so when you do it in the right way, you have always squares around.
Yeah.
So you have tension where you want to have the tension, so inside where you push the material in.
Yeah.
So you push the bumper in, if we say it right, not the material in.
Yeah.
And always on the side, so you have straight, right squares.
Yeah.
So no tension on every corner, on everything around.
Absolutely. So with that, let's get to it right now. I got my squeegee. I'm going to lock it in, Reiner. You're going to kind of hold the outside, and let's zero stretch and matrix this. So I got the heat gun on the highest setting right now. Taking the material, and Reiner's just kind of holding it off the car. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink the material into the body. So Reiner's actually pulling a fair amount right now. But even though we're heating the material, it's not really stretching because the material is shrinking. So I pull it to here, and you can see that material really relax onto the body. So this is about being patient, flowing, going up and down, pull the material. There we go. Nice and yummy. So this is kind of like PPF where you want to just go with the car, nice and flowy. Pull up and down. And then Reiner's kind of bringing the material around close to the car, which is kind of like what we talked about, bringing the car into the material as opposed to vice versa. So we come up to here, and you can see how now we got the squares coming right here, which is good. Slow down here and be super patient. Reiner's doing a perfect job. Again, be patient on this end. Don't try to stop heating now. Let the material really shrink all the way to the end, especially up here to the top. Cool. Take it down to there. Bring it a little farther here. And awesome. Just tack it to here. And then we'll finish it right on the side right to here. So flowing. And then right to there. Cool.
Just relaxing, just putting it on.
Yeah.
So I don't pull right now, and we don't need to pull on the end. So here a little bit, because here we bring the material in, but on the end we stop actually heating it, because on the end we don't want to have any tension. Okay, so directly here is the wheel cover, here's the side, so we don't want to have any tension. So when we stop heating it, we just shrink it back, not pulling it, it's everything, it's neutral.
So here on certain parts, like on these parts here, where the middle is, where this is flat, it's okay if it stretches a little bit. Right here, notice that everything kind of stretches a little bit on these mouth areas, which is fine, it's going to get cut away. But right here, it comes back to squares. That's the key. And even right here, Reiner, this is pretty cool. Right now, we want to go super deep. Right here, I see a triangle shape. But it's not really a triangle, Reiner, it's a pyramid.
Pyramid, because we go in 3D, not in 2D.
So now watch. Now we can heat it. And look how far we can take the film right all the way down to there without stretching. And now we have what? Squares. So now instead of doing this now, I did this and the Michel shrank to there, which is pretty cool. And I'm not working hard at all. It's pretty darn sweet.
No, I'm working hard. With my brain.
Well, that's it too. And now here, for example, watch. Reiner here, this is we talked about, is having the shape of this wrinkle here. Is that wrinkle bad or good?
It's pretty good, of course. We can use this wrinkle, and what we do, we lower the tension from the whole material and just lay it flat down. So you see this?
Yep. So this wrinkle here, watch. Reiner's pulling here. He's not spreading that tension out.
Just holding it.
Just holding it. Watch what happens. If I sit here, look how the material, it's just breathing into the car. Reiner's guiding the material to the surface, and we just wrapped this whole top, and we didn't have to do anything because the material's shrinking into the car. Even here, right, this Fedrigoni, watch. Take it to here, and I take the heat slowly, and I'm not pulling. Look at my top fan. I'm just guiding the material to the surface, and God, it just shrinks right on, Reiner. It's pretty darn cool. Even here on this recessed area here, again, we can heat the film again, and it will shrink back into the car, into the body, and then we can just squeeze the material on. Awesome. The material literally.
Also, on these things, you can feed it in, or if it goes deeper here, we don't want to push material in deep areas. We don't want to bridge it anymore.
No.
So we want to feed it in. We know we don't want to have tension inside. So what we do, we can lift it, heat it up, push it back, relax it again. So neutral, no tension in the deep areas.
So, and especially if you go into the Wrap Institute Reiner, I remember there's a different bumper that we wrapped as part of the Wrap Matrix series where we really show that. We're taking material into spots that no one else thought you could do because of the Wrap Matrix. It's really pretty incredible stuff. And even here, for example, Reiner, we have this light, comes in here. How deep do we have to go?
I mean, we have to be neutral on the sides. Here, I want to feed it in to the corner of the light. We fight against the wrinkles here because we push in the wrong direction here. So what I do, I heat, let it fall down, cut directly on the corner, and that's it.
Yep. So in this case now, I'm actually going to kind of show while we're here, because we're not going to do the other side. I'll carefully cut it on the high side now, make a nice good cut to here, and again, the light comes right about to there. So I'm basically making a nice safe cut. And basically what this is allowing the material to do, Reiner, is to breathe into the car. So just by making that cut alone, and again, carefully try not to cut the car, now watch what happens. Pick up the material to here, take it back to there. So now the material is starting to shrink back into the car right here. And now, look how easy it is for me to take it into that gap, which is super nice. So it's all about making that relief cut so the material can literally sit into there.
You see, we feed it in to the corner, but we don't stretch it in the corner.
And then from here, I can take on the glove. And here I want to feed the mouth Reiner. So I'm going to come into here, and if I take the material, you give it a kiss of heat. So it shrinks back a little bit. I feather it down to here, and then I bring the material into the mouth and see how it eats that material and how it goes super flat. So if I would have pushed this way, I would have put tension there, but by squeegeeing this way, it shrinks into there first. Then I bring the material up into here. Remember I said there used to be a lot of tension there. Now there's no tension because why, Reiner? Because we bring the material in and we shrink it, which is super cool. Even stuff like here, see how the material is lifting off the surface here, okay? And we have to take the material right to there. I'm going to carefully give a relief cut high to here so it floats. And here, instead of forcing it onto the car, watch how it shrinks onto the car. Boom. So literally the material sits down to there. Then from there now, what can we do? We can take the material down to here.
And we feed it in. So we don't want to have a sticking here, and then we press it in. So we lift the material, and by lifting it and squeezing it on the side, so then we have no tension.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, this for me right now is as long as you make it loose right now, and Reiner's shrinking it, see how it shrinks into there, pick up the material, and again, this is why we love working with that video. Again, this is that rye cast from Fedrigoni right now, is take the material into there, as soon as I see a little bit of tension, make a relief cut, and you can already see the material, as soon as I snap it, sinks into the car, and then I take it right to the edge with no tension, take it super deep, and that's all about relaxing the material. So it says the Wrap Institute nice and clean, I got the squares on the edges, which is what you want, and it's all about having the right matrix. So again, wrapping the car super easy, having it on race ramps, having the Weldy heat gun, but also understanding the material. This rye cast from Fedrigoni is super awesome, shrinks where you want it to, as long as you use it to harness it, and that's the name of the game, which is super cool. So this is advanced techniques for wrapping bumpers, which is great. Reiner, why don't we get to corners? So I'm going to rip this off.
You rip this off, I try to get my preparation things on the side, and even material. I hide it in the car.
Open the hood?
Sorry?
Hood open or closed?
Hood open a little bit.
Okay.
So it's always a good thing if you open it just a little bit, and we have some nice tools to do this. What I put just a little bit of
before we get to corners, what I think is really interesting is, you know, PPF evolution is the material has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Where in the sense that PPF back in the day, when let's say 2012, 13, it was becoming more and more popular. You weren't wrapping corners. You were cutting them high on the end. You weren't wrapping around, partly because the material was stiff, partly because of the adhesive, but also just wasn't expected. But now, PPF is super popular. Customers are expecting those corners to be wrapped. You better know how to wrap them. It can be tricky because PPF is super thick. So I think that's kind of the name of the game. It's really important to master corner technique. And the thing is, if the corner lifts, that's a big problem because to replace a hood, that's a lot of material and it's super expensive.
It's a lot of material and even the wrong tension. If you want to do it right and you stretch too much and something, so glue lines, it's always bad. You want to have a nice finish, so no tension at all at the corners. So, and it takes a long time, even why we didn't do this before. We don't have the experience. We don't go so deep and say, okay, it's fine, don't only go to this corner if we cut it short. So I think it was this technique, we could even do it like 10 years before, 15 years before, but definitely the material is now a lot better.
Awesome. So now you're in for a treat. Let's get to corners with Reiner right now. Let's get to it.
So what I do right now, so I always think about if I put the material on, so where I put it on and have it neutral on the corners. I never want to stretch it. And this is something what I also did on the beginning. I did it wrong. So what I try to do at the beginning when I try to do corners, so I have it here, I squeegee down here, and now I try to pull it deep around here, hold it, heat it, put some tech solution around. So and I say, why? So first thing we need to understand how deep we need to cover. So how deep we need to cover that we don't see any corner. So and what I do, it just end up neutral, and I spray some tech solution around. So this is only my water, that it starts sticking faster. And the only thing what I do, I hold it neutral and I squeegee to the side. So that's it. So no tension at all. If I would pull too hard here, I would have glue lines on the top. So the next thing is where to cut. So I use my super sharp blade, and when I do a hood like this, I go around and feel how deep I can go. So I use my fingernail actually and feel when the hood is stopping around the corner here. Okay, this means I cut straight under the corner here, make a cut, and then a little bit left and a little bit on the right side. I actually can pull this away. Same on the other corner. So I see this, I feel how deep I need to go around. Go left and right and pull this away. So the excess material was just too much here. I also cut away by pulling the material, holding the knife in the air, and I'm sliding with my finger in the right position here, so I have a pretty nice cutted corner here, and I also don't cut too deep. So you see, I just slide with my blade on the top. I don't cut through, but I can break it on the end. Okay, so pull it away from the side, and then follow the top line. So now is everything, just wash the rest of the slip solution away. I use again my distilled water. If you cannot spray it against here, maybe on the top on the hood. So what I do, I spray against my hand and wipe up and down. So I don't want to have any white line on the side. This means all the soap is gone. Here I still need to cut. To the way. Oh, wrong knife. Right knife. Okay. Cut it. That's it. So regular, I would leave this now on the car and let it dry, because your best friend for installing PPF is time. So let this dry means you don't need to push, you don't need to heat, you don't need to do anything. Just let it dry. After drying, you wrap it around. If you have a good material like this now, you also can wrap it around, hold it, and it gets faster. What I do now, I use my microfiber towel just to get the moisture away. So, and we end up with the material and with small tiny wrinkles on the side. And if you go closer here, so I wipe the moisture away. So if you go closer here, we have here some small tiny wrinkles. Before I was always fighting against this wrinkle and try to have it really nice on the corner, that I cut sharp directly on the edge. But then on the end I was thinking, why? Because we try to put the bad things in the good things. And one of the bad things are that if you use a regular heat on the PPF, what happens? So the PPF, it's not shrinking, it's burning a little bit. So it's melting. And now I see this wrinkle here, say, okay, great. Perfect. So I turn the bad thing into a good thing. So I know if I have a small wrinkle, small material standing up here, have this in the air, what I use a small torch for this. So with the small torch, I have a flame. The flame is not, if I go with the distance, it's not really hot, but I can focus the heat exactly on the corner. And I don't need a lot of temperature. I need a temperature, say around 80 degrees Celsius to maybe 100 degrees Celsius, not more. If it's great, if it's really dry. And now I can just shoot it down. So I have the wrinkle here, heat it a little bit, and melt it on. And that's pretty everything you need to do a nice corner. And if you even go really close on this, you don't see any PPF. You don't see that this corner is wrapped with PPF. You don't see that this corner is shortcutted or something. So super easy, super fast. And I always say it's only a good solution when it is an easy solution.
Reiner, I think that corner is awesome. And I think, this is advanced, corners. And I think a lot of people watching right now weren't expecting you to break out a butane liner, but I mean, it really makes sense. It creates a beautiful corner.
Yeah, and just melt it around. That's it. We work with the material.
Yep.
We know how to work with the material. You know the preferences of the material. When it melts, what is bad, what is good, and we use it for our situation.
Absolutely. And I think what Reiner and I are doing in the Wrap Institute, especially in the last 2 years, and when I teach workshops and I do stuff, I'm wrapping totally different. Like, I surprise myself oftentimes because I'm seeing such a different way of wrapping with the wrap matrix and zero stretch, especially with those advanced techniques. Wrapping easier, better, but it's just different. I'm seeing the world different. And that's kind of why we call it the matrix, is in that movie, once they kind of understood the matrix, they saw the world totally different. And it is a totally different world right now. So we hope those of you watching these workshops right now see it different. Now, based on that, Reiner, we're going to get to the Never Stop Learning contest in a little bit. But before we do right now, we're lucky enough to hear for this live event that Manuel came up from Italy, from APA, and we have a chance to interview him right now so they can talk about their beautiful color change film, their Ultrajet, which we made the product video, and you really enjoyed making that video.
Yeah, it was awesome. And also always if you have a new material, you don't know how to work with it before, and then you really enjoy it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that, let's get to that interview with Manuel. Hey everyone, we are now in the TWI Live Lounge, and we're joined by Manuel from APA. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Everybody, thank you for your hospitality here.
Awesome. You came all the way up from Italy on a very snowy day in Germany.
Yes, it was super snowy today.
Absolutely. So in this spotlight, we're going to be focusing on your new color change film, or you launched in 2022. It's the Ultrajet. And I think before we get there, kind of a question that comes up, because I go to teach in America and all stuff. Some people call it APA or APA. How do you actually say the company's name?
The company name is APA.
APA, okay.
So you have to say APA.
Cool, cool. So in 2022, you've had color change film for many, many years, but you kind of reformulated and came out with a new version, which has been a big, big hit. Can you tell the viewers how that was for you guys in 2022?
Yes, we did this new generation of material that is called Ultrajet. And we did it because people wanted this kind of quickly installation. And with this new glue that we put on the film, allows this slidability and is a pressure sensitive material.
Absolutely, because the original version from APA, if you've never used it before, is when I first used it back in, let's say, 2013-14, when I first played with it, is I'd wrap the hood and I didn't know that it was heat activated. So once I figured that it's out, I kind of knew how to do it. Hexus was a very similar style. But the reformulation now is a pressure activated, which means it's easier to install, quicker, more straightforward. So the adhesive changed, which is cool. But installers don't care about the adhesive. What we care about is the look and finish.
It's important for the people also the time. They have to install quickly the material. Time is very important for them because time is money,
Yeah, but who cares how fast it is if it doesn't look great? And your material is stunningly beautiful. So how do you guys have amazing gloss finish. How do you guys achieve that?
We achieve this kind of this gloss, putting a PET liner on the surface of the material. As you can see, you can remove the liner, and you have this beautiful gloss on the material.
Nice. So not only does the material have that nice gloss because of the PET liner, I do find that your material has a really good paint fit-like finish, like not a lot of orange peel. You don't see any channel collapsing. You guys have done a really good job. I do notice that some of your finishes, and it's good to know if you ever work with APA or APA, sorry, is that some of the films are thinner and thicker. So that's just based on kind of effect. Is that correct?
Yes, it depends on the effect you want to reach on the material. Because if you want to reach only a gloss or satin, matte, normal flat material, like a satin black, you only need one layer on the material. If you want to reach some particular materials like this one that is in the new Jazz Stone collection that we launched at the SEMA show, you must put more layers on it. Because otherwise you don't reach this effect.
Nice. So just so you know, with certain films, just pay attention that the thinner films, you can kind of wrap your corners normal, but if it's a little thicker, just change your game a little bit and maybe post-heat just to be a little safe. So in terms of install tips and tricks, and that's what we're all about. So also what's kind of cool about your material now is that you also collab, I think, outside the box. And, you know, we just talked about in 2023, looking ahead, that a lot of manufacturers are collabing with maybe unique companies and brands outside the wrap industry, or maybe a little within in this case. But you guys, for example, are collaborating with companies like Paint is Dead for new colors, which is cool.
Yes, we started collaborating with the Paint is Dead this year. We started doing these two kind of color that are called the Dead Red and the Yas Blue.
Beautiful.
And we love this collaboration. A lot of people knew APA from these kind of products, and they want to take these products also for the limited edition.
Nice.
Okay, because we did some special boxes. You have a pin, right?
Yeah.
Like this. It's a pin. But they're later for their collaboration.
Yeah. You have other,
in 2023, I think we're gonna have other collaborations with other brands, important brands, but I can't tell more, so you will see next year for sure.
That's very exciting. So it's the stuff to look forward to for 2023 from APA. And then to kind of wrap up 2022, which was kind of cool, is at the wrap party, if you weren't there, you didn't see it online, I was lucky enough to give the awards for top companies and brands and installers, and you guys won Color of the Year. Can you explain to the viewers what the color is and how that came about?
Yes, is a very important color. Is the gloss halo lavender.
Yeah, beautiful.
Is this kind of violet. Everybody loves this color, and we made it in collaboration with our
US distributor.
US distributor, the official distributor that is called Evolve, with Mattia. And we are collaborating a lot with him, and he's helping us to launch new colors. Also strange colors in the European market.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice. And so with that, what's cool about APA right now, and they're sponsoring the Never Stop Learning contest as part of this event today, and we're actually going to be wrapping with that award-winning color. So you're going to see it live in just a few minutes, where Reiner are going to wrap a hood, and we're going to wrap a mirror with it, which I'm super excited about. So you're going to see the beautiful award-winning color live in style, and if you guess how long it takes, you win an awesome prize. So lastly, just first and foremost, or lastly, is in terms of buying your material, you guys sometimes have a unique setup in terms of buying it. You can buy it direct or from a distributor.
Yes, it depends from the country. In Europe, next to Italy, the countries next to Italy, we sell directly to them. Okay. But if you go far away from Italy, we have distributor all over Europe, and also in US, the official distributor is Evolve, as I said.
Nice, and that's material.
So you can take the material from him.
Awesome. Okay. So this has been a TWI Spotlight on APA and their new color change film, Ultrajet, how successful it was in 2022, and I'm looking forward to 2023 and the new colors. So thank you so much for taking the time to drive up to be part of TWI Live 2022.
Thank you very much.
Ciao, babe.
Ciao.
Cool. Let's get to the Never Stop Learning contest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tadashi Kariya. 皆さんこんにちは。カリエタダシです。私は日本でデザインラボというサインとカーラッピングのショップ、そして PPF ショップ、ツールとラッピングフィルムを販売している会社を経営します。私は主に日本で仕事をしていますが、毎年アメリカのラップスコンとセマショーの方を訪れたり、あとはヨーロッパでフェスパワールドラップマスターズ、そういうイベントによく参加をしています。 私が今のスキルでもう一度リスタートするならば、やってみたいことは3つあります。まず1つ目が、世界のラッピングショップに行き、そこで皆さんと一緒に、ラッピングをしてみたいと思っています。2つ目に、大手のフィルムメーカーに就職して、フィルムの改良と進化に貢献したいと思います。3つ目には、経営コンサルタントの資格を取り、ラップコンサルタントとして、いろいろなショップ、メーカーなどにコンサルタントをしてみたいなとも思います。私の人生の中でラッピングが劇的に進化、変化を遂げた。そういう、事柄は2014年にヘクシスのゴールド認定、そしてエブリーの CWI 認定試験、これを受けたんです。その時にですね、初めてジャスティンと会いました。私はその講習試験ですごく衝撃を受けました。私たちは主に日本の中で活動しているんですが、私たちは最良のラッピングをしているというふうに思い込んでいましたが、ジャスティンの講習を受けた時に、すごく早く効率的にやるという、そういうことを学びました。その時から世界の国々ではどのようなラッピング、どのようなノウハウ、どのような知識でラッピングをしているのかということが知りたくなり、いろいろな世界に数多く行くようになりました。私が5つラッピングのツールを選ぶとすると、まず1つ目、3M のゴールドスキージ。2つ目、バナナバッファー。3つ目、ライスターのヒートガン。4つ目、エブリーのフレックスストリーム。そして最後にサムライナイフです。今年はやっと皆さんと会うイベントが開催されるようになりました。来年はもっともっといろいろなイベントで世界の皆さんとお会いできると思います。私もいろいろなイベントにできる限り行こうと思いますので、そういう場で皆さんに来年お会いできることを楽しんでます。では皆さん、ラッピングの勉強やめないで続けてください。また来年。バイ。
Hello everyone, my name is Vaidas, aka Wrap Virus. I'm based in Lithuania, but most of the time I spend traveling all around the world. To be honest, I have only one thing I would do differently. I would attend to the seminars, trainings, trade shows, just to learn more about this wrapping industry, to connect to the suppliers, to get all basics before I'm gonna start. Because learning everything by yourself is a waste of time. One main thing which helped me to grow a lot was working as a subcontractor, connecting with different companies, different installers, different trainers, and working with different materials all around the world. That helped me to grow very well. So number one, paint protection film installation squeegee, because I do a lot of PPF installs. Number two, tweezers. I can't work without them. I love them. Number three, this chiseler. Very flexible, very helpful for vinyl wrapping, for color change jobs, to do perfect corners. Number four, I really love this NT cutter blade, the favorite one. And number five, to save my back, is gonna be car lift. So guys, I wish you Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and 2023 to be way bigger than 2022, and never stop learning.
All right, Reiner, we are almost at the end of TWI Live 2022. One of my favorite parts of these shows is the Never Stop Learning contest. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm so ready, guy.
So ready. I'm ready too. So, Never Stop Learning contest, Reiner. You and I are going to wrap the mirror. You're going to do Wrap You Easy. I'm going to do Zero Stretch. Then we're going to wrap this hood, and we're going to be using this beautiful award-winning color from Appa. And the winner who guesses the time closest is going to win that $2,000 prize. So, big thank you to our sponsors for this. Reiner, I can't wait to do it. These mirrors, really weird colors, so we're going to make them super beautiful purple. Using great technique and good workflow, we'll talk you through the process. So it's going to be a learning moment and hopefully a winning moment. You good?
That's it. I'm good. I actually have the right color from the microfiber tiles from the Rack Company. So it's matching the color from the wrap film. How
purple
cool is it?
Purple pearl, baby. So we got that. So we're matching. We got everything good to go. I got my phone. I got my magnet on my phone. I think we're good to go, Reiner.
Yeah, you tell me. I'm fine.
1, 2, 3. All right, Zero Stretch, Reiner.
I mean, I start cleaning. What's about you?
You start what?
I start cleaning.
I like to take off my cap sheet because I always just want to kind of get rid of the cap sheet.
Oh, I like to clean it. Really nice. After the cleaning, I put a little bit heat on.
All right, if Reiner's going to clean, I will clean. We already kind of cleaned at the beginning, but just always want to double check. So I spray it. Always want to get those edges down. I always like to look at what I'm wrapping ahead of time, Reiner. I don't know about you, but I like to get a good idea of what I'm kind of going to be wrapping. So that's all nice and good.
Yeah, it's always a good thing if you clean the car by yourself, so you know actually every corner from the car, you know how deep you can go or not can go.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing if you clean the car by yourself.
So the cleaning process is good if you can kind of turn it into an extra positive in the sense that you want to clean, but make it a positive time too. So if you check out over there, Reiner's already got the Wrap You Easy going. You can see that he's heating and stretching it for me. And while Reiner does the Wrap You Easy, we're both kind of heating and warming the film. Then I'm coming back over here. So Zero Stretch takes a hot minute, but the payoff is going to be awesome. So Reiner, I noticed you kind of do Zero Stretch with the Wrap You Easy as well.
I didn't understand it because the heat guns are so loud, but I don't care because I will finish anyway. The mirror super fast and easy in a nice way. So then I can go over to your place and you tell me the story again.
So Reiner right now is using the Wrap You Easy and I use Zero Stretch. And notice where I'm starting in this mirror actually kind of on the back side now because I kind of want to even out that stretch and it's nice and relaxed. Now that I have my mirror set up right to there, what I can do now is I can pull that material nice and flowy. So I am stretching it right now, but wow, it's a totally different film because I did Zero Stretch. How's your mirror going, Reiner?
Pretty good. I think I just need to cut it and then I'm good.
Okay, cool. So I pull mine back. And what's great now is, you know, Sergey, our cameraman, is filming and he's mobile. So maybe, Reiner, do you have anything special that you're showing over there?
I mean, I'm showing that I'm ready.
Okay.
No, I cut now also. So what I do before I cut, I always want to really make sure that the corners are relaxed, everything is relaxed, that I have the material really nice laying on the surface and there's no tension on the outside. This is really, I take more time for this to make sure that I do a good job. So after, it's always bad if you say, oh, well, I should do this before. And this is always a problem of like humans like us. We only take care about the problems when there happens. But what we should do, we should take care that the problems never happen. So
absolutely,
that's a pretty easy thing.
So I saw some air under there right there. So I wanted to pick it up and kind of relax a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing here. So got that set. It's all about relaxing the film. So again, it's all about getting it on. So far so good. I think we're down to just a few minutes at this point. We're 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Got the material set up to here. I personally, Reiner, I don't know about you, but I like to warm my film and kind of activate that adhesive before I cut.
Yeah, I also did it. I go over the film. I check even the surface. And I check if there's a bubble left, anything left, that you really activate the film. It's not just cutting, it's just activating and see that everything is neutral.
And so I always like to go around with my squeegee and I set up the edges nice and clean to make sure there's no tension in there and flowing. And again, what I like about it is, Reiner, is we're not leaving a lot of tension on the mirrors right now. Kind of really using, again, kind of more advanced techniques right now, really relaxing, getting the material down, getting that nice flow. Mirrors used to be hard, but now they're easier than ever, mainly because of that Wrap UEZ. And Reiner, you helped develop that tool for Yellotools, correct?
Yeah, correct. So it's a long time, and when we started this project, I would say it was like Yellotools. So Michael was on my place in my workshop, and we talk about this, and they come to my place and say, okay, we have their new idea. And I looked to this was more like a big O shape. I look to this and say, okay, this is a good starting point, but we need to tweak it a little bit that it works. And I go back in my workplace, use my saw and just cut it in 2 pieces. And this was actually the birthday of the Wrap UEZ. And we have the Wrap UEZ, the regular one. We still have it here in the Wrap Institute on the side. So this is a historical part of the wrapping industry, I would say.
OG Wrap UEZ. I like that. Cool. So I'm done with my mirror. And before I leave, I want to be smart, and I'm going to post-heat it so I know that it's going to stay. So again, what we're trying to do in the Never Stop Learning contest is do everything by the book. So I got...
Okay, I will clean up a little bit. And the good thing is, you know, I'm so lazy with post-heating. So, but I know I put my corners around neutral.
Yeah.
So I don't need to take care really that it will shrink back because I put it in the right position now.
So that's kind of what I like about the Wrap UEZ, to be honest with you. The Wrap UEZ, just so those of you watching, for me, I like the Wrap UEZ just because you get that nice, good, tension-free kind of finish on the edge. So for many ways, you can kind of skip the post-heating, which is cool. We're at 6 minutes and 13 seconds. Reiner, what do you think?
Well, it's not bad.
Not bad.
I mean, for Friday night, just having fun.
Absolutely.
Regularly, I want to take more time. Of course, we enjoying the stuff, or?
Yeah. But I also like the flow. We got good material. We just had that great interview with Manuel. Now we got it here. Again, yo-yo moment. Pull it to here. Cap sheet off before or after, Reiner?
Yeah, cap sheet, definitely. You can choose it. I would take it off before, and it's also always a good idea to take the cap sheet off on the table, because then you minimize the static.
Yep. Speaking of static, maybe a good tip and kind of what I showed earlier is maybe give it a little bit of a spray, and that helps lower that static too.
And I make it in half. Fine.
So while Reiner does that, I'm going to set my marker up because I want to trim a little bit of this excess film off, Reiner. So I always like to use a marker, Reiner, so we don't make any mistakes.
Yeah, I use the back of my knife.
Okay.
So I fold it a little bit in, poke the material, and run over the back with the back of my knife, so I also see then that we cut. And this is a good idea. You see what Justin had in the hand? It's nitty. So if I go with a knife, so I need to make sure that I don't cut in the paint. So what I do, I always angle the blade in the direction from the surface. So then also pretty sure to don't cut in the paint.
So I say we pull the liner underneath, Reiner. I'm actually going to keep my magnet here so it doesn't shift. And notice that I'm putting my magnet on the outside area so there's no marks. Reiner's going to hold his side.
I hold it and I try to have it in a thing that there's no material lifting and that we don't have any wrinkle inside. Because having a wrinkle here will also create not a nice surface.
Cool. All right, so now we're set, Reiner. I say, pick it up and kind of pull nice. So I'm pulling straight down. Reiner's pulling to his side. Really kind of glassing this out. Getting a nice flow. Cool. I'll come back over here.
Yeah, you see what we can do here? So we have still wrinkles here. I use my heat gun, coarse the material, so it's more stiffer, and it's winter time here. Now it's hot, but so just use a little bit of the heat to make it a little bit softer. and I pull now up. So I don't pull to the corner, so I pull now up in my direction because I had a wrinkle down here, and this is my logic, the matrix going up in this direction, and the wrinkles on the side will disappear. Actually, the material, wrap it by itself.
Which is cool, which is cool. I'm actually going to start squeegeeing right now. Before I do, I'm actually going to wet my buffer. This is a cool new solution that we're actually working with a rag company on. And what this is going to allow the squeegee to slide and glide easier, no scratches, which is going to reduce.
And it smells good.
What?
And it smells good.
It smells great. So Reiner, again, we're working it together, and we're going to just, he's kind of doing his half. I'm paying attention to the light right now. Once he gets that set up, I'll pick the top side up here.
Good that you're
and again, pressure
not so
activated.
small like me. I need a glove, sorry, and if you run through here.
Overlapping my squeegee strokes. A good tip is, especially if you spray your buffer, is after about 3 or 4 strokes, what I do is I kind of rotate my squeegee to the other side that's still wet. We got the material up to here. Reiner puts on his glove, I'll put on my glove, and Reiner forming the material into the recessed area, doing what we call the palm. And that forms the material in nice and clean, and actually saves on adhesive lines, which is a really big thing. So now I take the material inside there.
Yeah, and always checking, so with the light going up and down, if there's any bubble, if I hit every point I need to hit, and set the squeegee on the right side.
So my squeegee is still sliding and gliding. I feel comfortable with that. Take the material up the high side, come back down here. Now Reiner kind of did a little bit of wrap matrix on the top side. I'm actually going to kind of do a little bit of zero stretch on my side. So I got these wrinkles here. So you see that shape. Instead of doing a triangle now, watch what I do. I'm going to do the pyramid where, look at my freehand is pulling in a straight line. And I'm just going to heat the material. Get it down nice and close, and you can see how it's just relaxing right onto the body, right to there. So now that everything's nice and relaxed, I pick it up and just give it a little fluff right to the edge. And then here, I can actually just snap it onto the car. So again, using that pyramid logic, especially on the side, and here, I can actually wrap that with no tension. Super easy. Now, Reiner, how you doing? You got it on your side?
I'm really good, so relaxing. Sorry, I need to put the squeegee out of my mouth so you understand it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, so I work it around my corner. I want to have it. I relax it on the edges.
Yeah.
By relaxing the edge, I really make sure that there's no tension on the side. So that's the cool thing if you work with the matrix and everything, and you actually see it like this. So there's no tension around here.
No.
Okay, the material will never pull back. So if you work in the right way, no tension, you can cut directly on the corner. It saves you time, a lot of time cleaning, prepping, and also by wrapping.
Yeah, so we don't overwrap, but keep in mind that right now, watch, I took the material underneath the edge and I'm going to load it with heat, not because we stretched it, but because right now, because of the manufacturer and zero stretch right now, if I load it with heat right now, look how the material shrinks back, and there's literally zero tension on the edge right now. That tells me it's really, really strong. So that means the material is going to hold for the long term, Reiner. That means that we don't have to wrap, as you said, too far underneath the edge. It's all about what we talked about at the beginning of the workshop. For beginners, is really understanding the properties of the material. Look at my hand right now. I'm not pulling the material. I'm letting the material shrink into the car. And because it just shrank into the car, look how dead the material is. There's no tension in it. That then allows me simply just to run my finger to the edge, and I don't have to wrap any farther than that because there's no chance of that material failing. Really awesome, Reiner. I'm telling you, what I love about this event, Reiner, is we did a workshop for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And it really all ties together, is the more you understand the material, even from a basic point of view, and then you build up to intermediate, and then you start to get to advanced, I'm telling you, you can get really high quality. You're saving so much time. And Reiner, the Wrap Institute is all about quality, durability, and efficiency. Is finding that perfect balance, like we talked about with Sign Hacks.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I mean, if you see this, I always say, the people, if the vinyl sticks, it's right. There's nothing wrong. But if you see this, and even if you're experienced installers, say, wow, I can now save how many hours I can save in a week, how many hours I can save in a month, and how many hours I could save for the last years if I would have. Yeah.
But that's another thing too, Reiner. We talk about as you develop and that never stop learning mentality. Is there's so many things that I wish I knew about the wrap matrix and zero stretch 25 years ago. I would have made more money. I would have worked less hard. But at the end of the day, you always have to be like, you know what, I know it now, and I'm going to change and get better. And that's just part of the deal, is that you always have to improve, go with the flow, and awesome. I think right now, Reiner, we're getting pretty close to the end of this, but I want to finish right, so I'm going to give it a burst of heat.
Definitely. Always check the heat. So we use the heat in a smart way, so only where we need it. And a good thing for using heat is getting the tension out, shrink it, and activate the glue. And definitely on the sides, I want to really check that the glue is activated, that there's no wrinkle, and the vinyls will stay in a good quality for a long time.
Yep. So now that Reiner's doing the heat, again, teamwork right now, that's what Reiner and I are trying to show you this in event, is I'm going to come back with the same solution that I sprayed on my squeegee. What's cool about this solution is I'm actually going to spray this on the wrap to finish it off so I get that nice, good polish. And this is going to, God, I love the way this smells, is this now I'm putting a nice polish, and you always want to use the right microfiber towels, Reiner. This one, as you mentioned earlier, this comes from the rag company. It's called the Purple Pearl, and this is specifically made for finishing right now. Where I can get the finish right now. It looks really yummy.
It looks yummy. It feels good. This is a sunscreen for the vinyl.
Yeah.
So, and we really need to teach the people how to wrap, but also we need to teach the clients how to take care of the car.
Reiner, I want you to slam it, and when you slam it, I will stop the clock.
Okay, but first, just have a quick look around here. It looks super nice, even from the bottom here. A nice corner, a nice cut. And you got it? We have it.
And stop. 15 minutes and 41 seconds. 2 mirrors, 1 hood. Awesome. And if you're a client paying for this, you just made good money for you and me. But people in Washington don't want to care about us making money right now. What they want to know is who won the prize.
Who won the prize?
$2,000 prize, which is awesome. Reiner, the prizes were great. Our sponsors were awesome. Weldy, Appa, Signhack, Vicky Allo, Yellotools, everyone, Monkey Strips, Banana Buffers, Fedrigoni. Great event, Reiner. Super
Great
awesome.
event. Enjoy.
Reiner, so this basically concludes the Never Stop Learning, or the TWI 2020 live event. We had a glitch with the Friday event going live. Live is always risky. That's part of being on the Wrap Institute right now. It's always tricky. But for me, we stayed, we filmed it, we did the stuff. For me, filled with tons of learning moments. I love teaching with you. It's awesome stuff.
I think it's great, and even with the glitching and everything, sometimes these things you don't have in the hand.
Yeah.
But what we have in the hand is try to bring you the wrapping a little bit closer and try to help you even make your life easier doing the job every day. And this we also transform with the recording stuff in a live.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, big thank you to the Wrap Institute crew. All of 2022 is a great year. Big thank you to the TWI family, all the sponsors who are involved, Craig Campbell for being part of that. Michael, as the interview was awesome. Reiner, 2023 is going to be a great year for us with all the sign shows, workshops. We're already pretty much booked for the whole year, and that's, for me, super exciting. Definitely come take part of VATEC for me. I'm really excited about the VATEC show in Germany. We got FESPA, we got Wrap Fest, we got also RapsCon, and the biggest one for us, Reiner, is Never Stop Learning Contest and Wrap Experience.
The Wrap Experience, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. So, for those of you watching, thank you so much for taking part of our first annual TWI Live 2022 overview. We obviously got one next year for 2023. Love sharing the information. We definitely have workshops planned for next year. Look for Reiner traveling the world doing his thing. And I think, Reiner, with that, let's say that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Rock and roll.
Thank you all so much. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.